Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Risen Divine League. We are coming at you with the winners' semi-finals here between Team Ambition Power and the University of Michigan. My name is Gordo. I am joined tonight by Crims. We're changing up the casting duos a little bit due to some extenuating circumstances, but we have got an exciting banger series nonetheless. How are you doing tonight, Crims?
Doing good, feeling excited for some League of Legends here. And I'm always excited about these semifinals. This is the round two. Anyone who makes it here has a pretty good shot of contending for that championship here. So both of these teams don't want to be knocked into the losers round just yet because it's just such a huge advantage being in the winners bracket.
Yeah, absolutely is here. And we've got a real fun kind of historical matchup here tonight. Team Ambition Power, University of Michigan, a de facto rematch of our summer 2022 Risen Grand Finals. That was between Team Ambition Black, which shares three players with Team Ambition Power, and the University of Michigan roster at the time, which also shares three players with the current University of Michigan roster. So these teams really well storied within the Divine League here, and now facing against each other, this time in a best of three instead of a best of five as they meet a little bit earlier in the bracket than they did previously.
It's just going to be a little bit of a preview for the future. We're hoping here, as I heard that best of five was quite exciting,
Oh, yeah.
and now we get to relive just a little moment of it here. I think it's important to note that both these teams are the higher seeded just from the round robin as well as based off history here. So, looking like it's going to be a pretty exciting matchup, even if it is just a best of three.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm going to be predicting this to go all the way. That best of five back then certainly went all the way and was part of, yeah, that Team Ambition Black roster was really one of the best teams that has ever played at this level. Of kind of North American competitive, the kind of Masters capped league level. They won the Risen Divine League. They won the Aegis Vanguard League. They won the Unified Academy League, or Unified Advanced League, I think is what it was actually called at the time.
Hmm.
They were incredibly good, still retaining that core, or kind of returning with that core now, with I Am Sam, Mark Boots, and Turk, joined now by a bit bad and Loki Dosi as Castle and All for One. Well, Castle's moved on to greener pastures. All for One has moved to the bench, which is a greener pasture in its own right. And then University of Michigan coming back, Orsi's, Duan, and Soma. They were all part of that team. Duan was kind of in and out throughout the season. Admittedly, they ran a different jungler through a lot of that time, but Jam Jim and Tay Tay rejoining the roster as well, coming through. They did not play back in that summer final, but are now have been on University of Michigan for their pretty solid run throughout this split.
Yeah, there is a lot of high level players here, and I'm excited to see how they're going to face off against each other. And interesting champion picks. Already I could see we have some very aggressive champions that are mained by a lot of these players. Interested to see if Orsi's Fiora going to make it through. What do you think about that one, Gordo? Is that one going to just be a permaban?
I think it's going to be close to it. I think you got to pay close attention to these top laners on their mains. You know, Orisi's Fiora, pretty big, pretty dangerous. Also a big part of the meta right now. And then I Am Sam on his classic Darius. Don't be fooled by the solo queue rank here. He is still incredibly adept on that champion, although he maybe doesn't play as much as he once did. And also the Riven, a big shared champion between these two top laners. So that's another top lane pick that I'm going to have my eyes on. I know both of these guys have super good Rivens. Orisi's playing it a lot more lately. So eyes going to be on that one as well.
Yeah, I think that getting a good matchup in top lane, especially on these new carry champions. The meta's been around for a while. We've seen it. And you
Oh, there it
can
goes.
definitely win by split pushing these games here. And now we have the bans coming through. And the Zeri, okay, we didn't get to talk about it yet, Gordo, but it looks like Zeri is going to be removed here.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that is going to be taken off the board. Been told it's Max Emos. Isn't that what I said? I thought that's what I said, but not
Maximus?
It is, yeah, I don't know. It's Maximo. So I've been corrected somewhere in there, but we definitely know the name here as Caitlyn going to be banned away by TA Power to round things out. So 80 carry bans coming through from both sides. The Jarvan taken away from Bad. And now here's this Orianna. Both mid laners been spamming this pick, and for very good reason. This got over buffed, if I can voice an opinion there a little bit. I think his champion was plenty good already. Maybe got pushed a little bit over the edge here, and I expect it to be a big champion to fight over in this series.
I mean, control mages were already premier picks in the meta, and Orianna, tried and true classic, does make her way back. Just want to let everyone know, Yuumi is, I think both teams agreed there will be no Yuumi in this game, so that is why there's no Yuumi ban. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure red team just bans Yuumi every single time. The Xayah getting locked in. I mean, we've seen a lot of Xayah Gordo. Very safe 80 carry. You can't really pick too much dive into it. And then she just has a field day. So if she's ahead, she's a monster in the game because it's hard to take her out. And that's her job as an 80 carry.
Yeah, absolutely. Here in the Lee Sin coming up as another bigger pick in the meta here. This is a Duan classic. He does play a fair bit of that Lee Sin and has really re-entered the meta after its latest round of buffs. So definitely one that going to be big influence in this series. They're going to steal away the other half of the bird bot lane in the form of Rakan. Really a lot of debate over which half of this matchup you'd really rather have if you're going to be splitting the two off, but Rakan going to be a very powerful engage tool for the Michigan roster.
Interesting that they go Lee Sin Rakan, unless they were expecting a Lee Sin takeaway here. Because I think the classic you kind of see if you're going to do the takeaway is you pick the Varus into the Xayah because Varus can poke her out. That's her one big weakness. And then you take the Rakan to steal away the Xayah Rakan combo here. So they're either delaying it or they have a different strategy altogether here. Poppy going to be played in the Lee Sin and Rakan. Actually, very smart adaptation already. So it looks like Michigan, they can't lean too heavily on these dash champions.
Yeah, I love this coming out of Bad here. Probably Bad. I mean, could also be flexed towards top lane for I Am Sam if they do want to take it up there. Could also, in theory, be flexed to support, but the Nautilus probably going to put a damper on that one. Unless we start to see some crazy flex. I mean, Nautilus jungle exists. It got played by Golden Guardians Challengers this season. That is, I've seen it that one time and nowhere else ever since, but I'm clinging on to that shred of hope, Crims.
I've also seen some Nautilus top, but I also doubt that one is not that one's gonna be here either. Okay, so they didn't want to take Varus. They're gonna go with Sivir. Sivir's a lot shorter range, but she doesn't have to hit Xayah to do damage. So that is an interesting factor. In a way, you can play away from the Xayah with that Sivir here. Sivir also really good with melee champions who like to engage, Lee Sin Rakan, getting a nice little speed boost. And to top it all off, the Sivir can prevent the engage from Nautilus and or Poppy knockout with her ultimate there. So Sivir ends up being a decent pick. I do think, though, that they're kind of playing into the Xayah, so we'll see how much of a prio pick Xayah ends up being with these last few bans and picks.
Yeah, for sure. As the Sivir will round out that first round, they're going to focus on mid lane from the side of Michigan. They're going to focus, looks like, on top from TA Power. I mean, they've already taken a few champions out of Orisi's pool. It looks like they're not going to let up. They're going to keep on with that Olaf ban. Also something that could potentially be flexed towards jungle, but a lot more of a top laner these days. And there's that Asol ban, freshly nerfed on the patch. We are on 13.5, but still a pick that some folks are pretty concerned about, and really something that I think Mark Boots in particular is quite adept on. I like him on these control mages. I think his Azir's been really dangerous for a long time, and that's been a little nerfed here as well. So they're going to make sure that that, along with the Orianna and the Aurelion Sol, are taken off the board.
Yeah, Asol is just such a good scaling mid laner. If you aren't able to shut it down, we'll just take over a game with that huge meteor. And now they're just going to go ahead and blind the Ahri. So Ahri is one of those champions who can pop Xayah's ult for free if you get on the right angle. And once Xayah doesn't have her ultimate, her safety diminishes quite a bit. And she can dodge her recall on the feathers here. It is another dash champion, so Poppy ends up getting more value. And okay, so that makes more sense. The Ivern, they're going to play away from just heavy diving into the Xayah. And it's gonna be able to boost their Sivir here. I guess this is an Ivern mid though, so this is some dark technology coming out.
Or it's solo lane Lee Sin. for
Oh, that's true. They could
yeah,
flex that.
potentially
That's
for
very
Aura
good.
Caesar Jam Jim. But either way, I mean that's pretty crazy. It really makes me wonder though if we're gonna see like a Rengar or something here. As you know,
They
just
did show it earlier.
yeah,
It's a
I mean
little, it flashed
just
it.
picking the iron for funsies just in an otherwise comp is pretty crazy to me. I guess it does give another set of shields to give over to the Sivir. You can kind of play a buff the Sivir style
Mhm.
composition there. Um, Definitely not what a lot of the meta is defined by these days, but really curious to see how they intend to utilize this Ivern as the Silas is going to be locked in for TA power, and now Darius being hovered for I am Sam. We brought up these top laners, and it's going to be locked
Okay.
in.
All right, so the Darius here is a very strong top laner. I think the problem that Team Ambition Power has here, though, is they're kind of kiteable outside of the Nautilus ultimate. They can play some disengage on the side of Michigan, but it looks like they're not even gonna go for that here. If they lock in this rumble, they're just gonna say, "We're here to fight it out. We're not gonna try to out kite your comp." Kennen can do that, so that's gonna add some kite power. If they do lock it in, lots of engaging, and very importantly, Gordo, not a dash on the Kennen. There is 3 dashing champions. Don't forget, Ivern does have a dash on the seed, and so that can be canceled. So Poppy ends up having some pretty good value despite being picked quite early in the draft. The Kennen's going to add a lot of team fight stuns and power in there. But Gordo, they just gave a Kennen ultimate to a Silas.
They did. They did just do that, and they did just lock in Ivern mid. Maximos played this last week as well, or so I've been told by our good friend Caddy over on production. Was not here for that one, but looks like it didn't work out too well for them at the time, but it's certainly something they've been scrimming with, is what that lets us know. And I really like it as a pairing with some of these more engaged focused champions, like the Lee Sin, like the Kennen. It lets you kind of get that that surprising angle a little bit more easily if you can extend some of those bushes out a little bit farther, let them get a little bit closer before you know exactly where that engage is coming from. And additionally means that there's going to be 2 daisies in this game, so you can steal away that ultimate for your
I don't,
Silas, and that's
I don't
gonna
know
be a
if he's going to
spicy
do
one. I'm
that.
excited for the 6-on-6.
I don't know if he's going to steal away the Ivern ultimate. I think you go for Kennen. Top
He's
one
gonna
is
be
Kennen.
forced to some amount of the time because they're
I,
one-on-one in mid. They have to,
We'll see. We'll see. Lee Sin's probably the next one after that. So
for sure.
if he's forced to take the Ivern ultimate and we see the dueling golems, all right, we're just gonna pop off for that one if it does happen. But in the end, so here are comps. I think that the interesting thing with Ivern is you could really make it difficult to spot out Oracles on the flank with Kennen, because you could hide in extra bushes that aren't there from before, and also that dash from the Ivern stun also can pull in the Kennen for a huge engage. So I'm wondering if that's what they're going for. Also can help Lee Sin do a weird kind of, I guess, an Ivern sec, if we want to call it that, because now you don't have to use your Q to get in. So there are some combos with the Ivern. Of course, most of the shielding is going on Sivir. Who else would it be to provide a lot of that damage? So if they get stuck in all these ultimates and Sivir is allowed to free fire, so like Tay is just going to do so much damage in these team fights. And there is a Poppy and a Darius, but the whole rest of the team, they're melee. Most of them are melee. They're going to get shredded up by the Sivir here. So I do like that aspect of their comp. I think they do have some problems though, because the Nautilus, the Silas, and the Darius, they're just going to be able to fight the front line on front line, and theirs is definitely stronger. I mean, can you imagine Darius hitting that decimate, killing that front line? As soon as they get locked up, there's just no hope for them in that front line fight.
Yeah, that's the worry, right? You're gonna need to make sure that this Ivern is really buffing you up to make sure you're gonna be safe. You got the Guardian and a little bit of shielding coming in from the Rakan as well. But they are definitely going to be they definitely want to be the ones who are pulling the trigger here over on the side of the University of Michigan, so that they can get their wombo combos across, and so that you don't need the truest of front lines for this Sivir. If you're the ones initiating the fight, you're the ones stepping forward, and you're the ones making sure that the fight is in your favor. Daisy will do a little bit of that frontline work for you, but definitely going to be not the way that you want the fight to go if Mark Boots is diving onto you and Bad is disrupting all of this mobility by just throwing down the steadfast presence in the middle of your team. We'll see if they're going to be able to execute on that. The laning phase is going to be an interesting one. This is a lot of champions that we don't get to see a whole bunch of, the Ivern mid in particular, but also, Ken and Darius. That's certainly a matchup that we've not gotten to see in this league or in any real competitive league in a while.
Yeah, Kennen is usually an LCK favorite. You'll see it also in the LPL every once in a while, especially with someone named Doenby. As we have here, the Kennen into Darius. I mean, look, this is pretty much Kennen favored. He's going to be able to kite away Darius, hit him at long range. He's going to toss shurikens and then lightning rush away. The most annoying gameplay possible. I think Garrett Darius might be able to catch up if he brings Ghost, but the stuns are going to come in. The Poppy and the Lee Sin. Lee Sin's going to have a lot of agency early, so it's going to be on bad to make sure to scale, stem some of the bleeding, and then once team fights roll in, that's where Poppy finds a lot of her effectiveness, being able to knock out people. I mean, if she gets onto the Kennen before the engage happens, that's going to be huge. Can potentially stuff the Lee Sin engage as well. That's going to be big. Sylas here is just another fighter, another brawler in that front line. Going to try to probably find some angles onto the Sivir. Can do a lot of damage in the back line. But I think Ivern just going to completely negate that in the mid lane. So we'll see if they can pull that off here. Xayah Sivir. Xayah can win early, but I think that one's going to end up being mostly a farm fest just based off the supports here. I don't think Rakan wants to fight, so they're just going to try to farm it out. If Nautilus on Turk lands the engage onto Rakan, they could pick up some kills there with a lot of lockdown. Xayah Nautilus, 2 snare combo. That's a lot of CC. Rakan could potentially die. But I think I'm going to trust the side of Michigan B that they're not going to be playing so risky in the bot side. They're just going to try to farm it out. We'll see if that ends up affecting the map in these Dragons.
For sure, and both of these junglers I want to highlight have a lot of potential to make some early game plays. The Lee Sin, what everybody really thinks of as, an early game snowball-y focused jungler, has all of those creative gank angles he can go for, but Poppy is actually very close to being in a similar boat. She has the displacement, she has the ability to deny the escape out that somebody like Sylas or even Nautilus often wants to go for in these sorts of early game scenarios, and they very often take Hex Flash on the jungle Poppy to try to traverse over some of those walls, kind of play like a pseudo Jarvan in a lot of ways, where you can also find very interesting gank angles. You can pop your way on over to something like the red side blue buff, hex flash over the thick wall behind the enemy turret, dash somebody back into your team. That's a really powerful gank angle you can go for when you are up against, stuff like this, Rakan.
Yeah, the competitive Poppy does lose out on damage because you also go the phase rush style.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be as strong in the fights, especially in the duels and the 1v1s, but your gank access and your ability to get the enemy laners into bad positions, and it's hard to escape the Poppy once she's on top of you with that steadfast presence, as you're talking about here. So if they do end up missing some wards, missing some positions from a bit bad, getting ahead on Poppy is absolutely massive because the team fight, like Lee Sin's gonna do a little bit more damage, has better backline access, but Poppy in the front line, that's a tough one to beat.
For sure. Last chance to get those predictions in with your channel points, as we are about to get on to the Rift for game number 1. We are in the playoffs, but this is still a best of 3. We will start those best of 5s next week. And recall, this is the winners bracket, so winner here will move on to those winners finals, and loser will drop down to the losers bracket to start fighting for their lives. Going to be a huge matchup here. A lot to play for the rights to play against whoever wins against Forgotten Kingdom and Piggy Eats there and get yourself right into those grand finals. That's definitely the position you want to find yourself in here in Risen.
Yeah, and I just also want to point out that if you lose this, you will be going up against the winner of potentially that first top round bracket, and it has UCIJV in there and UMD Academy. So I mean, look, if UMD Academy beats UCI, well, dang, how good are they? If not, UCI makes it through. Now you're kind of facing up against one of the better teams of the tournament. In the losers bracket, I don't think you want to be in that spot.
Yeah. This is winners semis. I've been informed I said winners finals. That's not correct. The winner of this will go on to the winners finals. Winner of this will go on to the winners finals. That'll be a best of 5. That'll be its own banger series for next week. Right now, we are still here in the BO3s fighting for an opportunity to get up there. Both of these teams had super impressive performances in the regular season. As I save us some more time for a little bit of a pause to start things
Yeah.
off. Both teams tied for first place in their groups, having been tie broken to end up where they end up. So University of Michigan, they end up at the second seed after losing the tiebreaker to UCI Esports JV. TA Power, they end up as first seed out of their group after losing or after winning rather the tiebreaker up against PE Eats due to the head-to-head there. So 5-2 and 6-1 records respectively for those two teams, heading at a really solid run of this season, looking to cap that off with a deep run in the playoffs. That will be getting started right here, right now, as we are on the Rift for game number 1.
All right, they're going to go ahead and start. It looks like Michigan are going for a 5-point, and Team Ambition are going to respond. They do have a really good level 1 team with the Silas and the Nautilus. That's a lot of damage, and that's enough lockdown for something like a Darius to get in there and do some damage. They're not going to go for that, though, as they're just going to go ahead and play it safely. I think they could have leveraged it, though, Gordo, for some vision advantage, potentially see where Duan wants to change things up early.
Yeah, for sure. When you've got that Nautilus on your team, it's really a big power point early to try to make some plays happen. Silo's very good at level 1 as well, so I am surprised to see that they don't really end up going for anything. Bad gonna have his recall interrupted. Still wants to go for it. Still wants to exchange for the sweeper before he starts his clear. He's got barely enough time to do it, but that interrupt means he probably can't.
It's going to heal it up. Just a jungle anyway. Not big difference. Looks like going to go ahead and swap down to the bot side. So jungles are going to be pathing against each other here. Duan hasn't moved an inch after landing that Q. So that's definitely a topside start. And this kind of does reveal to us, at least, where both of these junglers want to go. Orsies does put down the ward onto the blue, so they know Poppy's not starting there. And that is the biggest difference in information right now.
It is likely going to mean that Bad is on that bottom side of the map. They'll be calling that out. Orsi's in the range versus melee matchup here super early. Didn't get cheesed by the Darius in the bush, which is the only real risk to him there. So he's going to have a pretty nice time in this early laning phase. Now going to be
nice
an early hook from Turk. It gets a good trade into Tay. Grand Entrance going to trade back, though, and along with Boomerang Blade, actually means Loki Dosi just as low on HP.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and trade quite even. Xayah Nautilus need one more level at least, but Turk going to play it aggressively, knows that they can use the Nautilus early power to get this level 2. They're going to go ahead and sink that right there. So they have, for now, control of the lane. And meanwhile, I Am Sad. We're just going to have to call him I Am Sad for the time being because this Kennen matchup is not fun at all. The wave already bouncing back, so Orsi is going to be able to play safe and potentially just dodge Bad's gank here just based off lane state alone. Oh, level 3 first hit by Darius. This might be the kill.
Yeah, they get it at the same time, but I Am Sam is on top of Orsi's. Misses the apprehend, though. That's going to hurt as Orsi's does get his way out of there. He's going to get to stay in lane. Bad pathing up here, though. Could look to make something happen to swing this matchup.
All right, I think he's just going to blow his flash to get Orsi's flash. They could get the kill if they do it right now.
Yeah, they don't even need to use their flash, too. Great job by Bad. Orsi's doesn't need to use his either, though, and is just going to get a nice little trade back. So just keeping the pressure on, but Orsi's pretty much has to recall now. He's at huge risk of getting ghosted on or flashed on by Darius.
All right, so that pathing up to the top side is going to save I Am Sad from a very difficult lane here. Kennen, though, I mean, look, this early in the game, you have a stun, and they will walk into melee range for you for an easy stun. So not the best thing to dive. So Orsi's is able to pick up the wave in the end. But I'm Sam. He gets to bounce the wave back, and that's going to save him from a lot of turmoil here. In the mid lane, Ivern. I mean, I said that Ivern was just going to completely neutralize this lane. So far, that's to be the case. And I think that Poppy is not the best mid lane ganker either. You can get some angles, but it's really hard to slam them into the wall in the mid lane.
Absolutely true. But Duan showing us the new patch there. Counter jungling's back, baby. But so is I Am Sam. He's stepping right up onto Orsi's here, who didn't take the recall earlier. Gonna have to flash over that wall now. Ghost for flash. That's a trade that I Am Sam will take all day, every day.
Yeah, the pressure is mounting on Orsi's. And that is a lot of their AP damage, Gordo. So if they're able to shut down Kennen, that could ruin, not number one, their burst, but also the AP damage. They're going for the play right now. No flash.
Bad's here as well. There's going to be the charge right back in, and Orsi's going to go down to the buckler throw here. First blood picked up for a bit bad.
All right, a bit bad is able to find action first over Duon. And that is going to be huge for this Poppy. Remember, the Lee Sin, the job is to get some early action, get some pressure for your lanes. Instead, Poppy is going to be able to find it here first. Maximos, low on mana, but high in HP, should be able to be fine in this lane. There's free CSing. And now we're going to start thinking about this first dragon here. No bot lane has really secured a dominant position just yet, but a bit bad with the kill. Might be looking to continue this lead in the jungle.
For sure, gets his nice little bit of gold there. And part of the beauty of the Poppy versus Lee Sin matchup is, Lee, he's a kill threat to a lot of junglers in the early game. You know, if he finds you in your own jungle or in his jungle, he can punish really effectively. Not really the case with Poppy. Got a lot of inherent tankiness and got the ability to interrupt Lee Sin's main damage source in that Sonic Wave. So, going to be feeling very confident there. As Duon, though, will look to start up this dragon. They've got the push in mid, they've got the push in bot, and that should mean they can pick this up.
Yeah, they just get that bot wave beyond the halfway point. And Maximos doing a great job making sure mid lane's being pushed up. And that's going to reward them the dragon for Duon. And Lee Sin just so great at taking dragons early. You have that shielding, and you have the execute as well. And so Lee Sin, really good at early dragons, is able to pick that up here. Again, looking at topside, Orsi's in trouble. We'll see if he can sniff this one out, but this pressure from a bit bad is just, it's just so heavy onto this Kennen on the top side.
For sure. You can definitely get some good dives off with the Poppy, the Steadfast Presence, reducing a lot of the damage you're going to take as she starts to fall lower and lower on health. And definitely going to be a risk to this flashless Kennen. Does have the Slicing Maelstrom, though. Will do at least a little bit to dissuade things. No Merc Treads for bad, so will not end up going for it. But the risk is always there, even while he's farming up. That's going to be a nice hook in from Turk. Should just chunk Soma a little bit, but they don't have the ability to all in.
Yeah, they really need just a little bit more time there to get the lockdown or Rakan. As Daisy, your buddy Gordo here, is going to be pushing down the lane. Okay, interesting. I didn't. That was a triple auto cancel from Daisy. The mechanics coming out is amazing.
Yep, big seed there. Gets the big explosion just to clear on out the wave. Once Ivern gets those couple levels of that ability, it gets real tough to actually compete with him in the push department. So Mark Boot's going to have a lot of time under his turret in this mid game.
Okay, here we go, Turk.
Turk going in with the dredge line. Loki Dosi looking to step up, and Soma re-engaging. Nearly finds an angle for the root, but does dash back in time. Battle dances out, and just going to be bad, helping to make sure this wave crashes.
Yeah, getting frozen on is not fun. Turk, here they go. They're committing.
Yeah, nowhere to go now as they get slammed into the wall. Soma does dash back, using Tay as a nice little buffer to escape. And meanwhile, Maximos wandering up to top. Sam did ghost to try to take out Orsi's, but couldn't quite finish the job. Now Duon is here as well. It's a 3-on-1 in the top lane, and that's going to be the kill up against Darius for Duon.
I see that their ultimates were burned top. Sam did have the flash still up, decides to save it. Meanwhile, Orsi's, I think by the time he comes back to lane, gonna have his flash returned to him as it was taken away by Sam earlier. And that top lane matchup now, I mean, the cull's almost completed. The ghost is taken away from Sam as well. It's looking like Orsi's is going to be able to recover up here on the top side. And as I was saying earlier, that's a huge point of power for them, for their burst damage and their source of magic damage. Meanwhile, on top of that, Duon going to be able to snag another objective as well. That bot side gank that they went for from a bit bad ended up being... they didn't actually get anything, and now Duon is able to pick up things counter on the map.
Nicely played by Duon. Will give them a nice chunk of gold, and also the ability to pick up some turret plates before too long. So we're going to check out a little replay of this play in the top lane, I believe. Oh, that was live. There's the replay. I am saying I'm going to step up to Orsi's.
All right. I'm imagining here that the ultimate is going to disengage this. Orsees gets into melee range from the apprehend. Trying to kite back. Ultimate going to come down. Yeah, the decimate wasn't going to finish him off. I'm saying I think trying to calculate with the bleed damage and is just a little bit off here. Maximus is able to roam mid, of course, because Silas went bottom. And I'm going to have to correct myself. They did get 2 plates bottom, but that is a lot of resources being called over just for 2 plates.
For sure. The kill onto I Am Sam is huge. Means that
Oh,
not going to be
Daisy?
able to snowball, and here's a potential second one. Daisy is there, so is the Root Caller, and Orsees is here with the damage. Knockup misses, though. We'll be able to get his way underneath the turret to stay safe, but now Chunk to half HP, going to have to recall again, and no TP on this Darius means he's going to end up missing out on some gold.
All right, Soma not level 6. Turk is, so that is 2 ultimates versus 1. Don't want to fight right now. The wave is pushing. They're in a bit of a bind as Soma, wow, still not off that wave, not level 6. So they're going to have to play extremely safe in the meantime. And look at this top wave from Orsees here. This is a great position to be in. Because now if Darius walks up to try to clear the wave, you can poke him out. And you can keep him frozen there forever. Poppy, looking like Bit Bad, wants to go ahead and give Sam the bailout on this lane. Or potentially a Gake. I think they're going to go for the bailout here. But Maximus is heading up. This is a 2v2.
Yeah, they're going to take the fight right away. Slicing Maelstrom comes out early.
Good
Bad
flash.
tries to flash to get into charge position, but Orsees plays well around it, steps away, but will go down to the damage from I Am Sam. Now Maximus in a 1 versus 2, tries to get the damage off the trigger seed, but it just won't get there. That's a double kill for I Am Sam in the top lane.
I don't think they had any idea that Bad was going to be there. Otherwise, Orsees wouldn't have went in so early. And once the Kennen was down, there was not enough damage to finish off the Darius, as you can see there. Maximus ends up falling, and now Silas gets a free push, and I'm imagining another plate is on the books.
Yeah. Duan does find the angle to get a very close... Oh, it was 2 plates. Sorry. It looked like it might have a little sliver left there. Does get 2 plates off the Rift Herald charge, so will get the minimum value that you want out of your Rift Herald, but does mean that I Am Sam right back into it. Substantial amount of gold goes into him with that double kill, and once he wanders back up the top, he's going to have some of that combat power that you want to be able to finish off those kills like the one he nearly got earlier.
I am interested to see the gold spread, as Team Ambition's going to be picking up this dragon here. I'm just going to take a peek at the bot side. Because the 2 plates in the CS, it's almost even, but that CS differential is showing. I Am Sam looks like he's found himself another kill. Apprehend going to miss. Orsees, that's twice in a row, has done that downward dodge against the Apprehend. I'm not sure if it's going to work a 3rd time, though. We'll see if I Am Sam's going to catch on and call it out. As the gold spread we get to see here, Silas is up huge. Duan is up on the other side for Michigan, as they're kind of gearing up for a fight with no objective around. They might have caught Mark
Duan dashing over the wall a little early here, forced the Dragon's Rage away, but he's going to get Dragon's Rage right back. Now very low on HP, forced to back away.
Turk.
Dragon already down, and now Turk finds a hook onto Soma. Still has the depth charge in the tank if he wants to blow it. They decide that there's nothing left to be gained here, but I Am Sam coming out again. This is a 1k gold lead. Darius looking for the solo kill. Slicing Maelstrom
I think
comes
he's got
out,
it.
but Ghost is going to close the gap. Noxian Guillotine doesn't even need it. I Am Sam goes on a killing spree.
The Apprehend there doesn't secure the stun, and that means I Am Sam was able to get so much damage that Orsees was not able to return there. Turk in a 2v1, but they're getting engaged straight onto Tay.
Disrespectful there, steps upward even with the depth charge still available, and now Turk chasing him the rest of the way down. Lokidosi did take some damage from the turret, but here comes Mark Boots to clean it up. Dashes forward, looking for another one now as Tay has already dropped to Turk. Maximus a little bit too far up, doesn't have the mobility tools, and they're just going to go in for the dive. Bad knocks him back with the charge, and that is going to be another kill from Mark Boots.
All right, look at this. This gold lead is climbing. All these skirmishes, they're not going in the favor of Michigan. And, I mean, they do have the Lee Sin, great skirmisher in his own right, but everyone else, I mean, Kennen really likes to be in team fights, so is Sivir. Same thing with the Rakan here. So I think they're just playing a little bit too aggressively from the side of Michigan, as Duwon trying to secure a kill here.
That fast presence passive is going to be a problem for you, buddy, and so is Turk. As Turk finishes that kill off, now has to be careful not to give one back to Orisi's. Bad is there, just for a quick heroic charge into the wall, knocks him to half, can pick up the buckler, still staying alive, will eventually go down as Orisi's gets one back.
Well, Turk is the one with the bounty, so actually, I guess it's better for a bit bad to die there. Otherwise, you're gifting more gold to the Kennen. Maximo's going to come and clear up top side. That's a 2-level difference in the solo lane, so I am Sam. Oh, wait a minute.
I am Sam going to make him feel that level difference now. He pops the trigger seed and now is looking for the Decimate. Doesn't quite find it. Decimate plus Guillotine, I think, would have done it, but doesn't have the summoners to close the gap. Doesn't have the damage without it. So is going to let Maximos live for the time being. Now has to abandon the next wave. Calling for assistance with an assist me ping, but all 4 members on the bottom side of the map.
All right, 14 minutes in. Bot lane's rotating to mid lane. Makes a lot of sense. Sivir is very good at solo clearing. And finally catches up to Loki Dosi there. And I am Sam. Looks like he's just going to be able to pick up a free turret. Honestly, I thought he was going to have a bit worse time into Orisi's here. As now, Mark Boots.
Ooh, there's the Venn diagram as they both pop the Slicing Maelstrom, but Mark Boots has got the extra damage. He's level 11 to the level 10 of Orisi's. Got a little bit extra gold as well, and he's going to take him out for a solo kill.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying when Sylas uses a better version of your own ult due to the level difference there. And yeah, Orisi's, because of all the time spent from bad up and top side, is really going to net them an advantage against this Kennen here. So far, Team Ambition, I like what they did. They shut down the Kennen, and that burst damage that they were going to rely on to steamroll these team fights is not going to be there. Kennen still can get massive stuns, and don't get me wrong, Tay-Tay, if in the right position, should be able to do tons of damage in the Sivir Blender situations. But if they can avoid that from Team Ambition, this game is locked in as a win for them.
Absolutely. The level diffy in the side lane really being felt this game as Mark Boots and I Am Sam just slamming their one-on-one matchups as a result of the gold and level leads they've got for themselves, stat checking their opponents. Somebody going to have to find a way to make these fights unfair. That's somebody probably going to have to be Duwon or Soma, but as of yet, they haven't been able to make any big roam plays happen.
Yeah, they tried to roam, and it hurt them instead in these 2v2s. A bit bad just in perfect situations. Oh, is going for the Divine Sunder, so gonna be more damage on this Poppy than typically one would expect as they get the crash in here, and this mid lane turret going down is huge. It's gonna allow them to get so much pressure in the mid prio, and that's gonna give them the following dragons. 3-man top side. They're trying, okay, 2 turrets? Okay. Something's gone wrong here from Michigan. They're trying to cheese their way in top side, but then they lose double turrets to Rift Herald in the mid lane. Not worth. They don't get anything on top.
Soma and Duwon listening to my advice a little too closely. They overload the top side, looking to make a pick onto Sam, who just steps back and stays at a safe distance, and they lose 2 mid lane turrets for it, as well as the dragon. They're still channeling their recalls. Only Soma has managed to get out of there yet. They lose so much on the map for that fish there, and they don't get anything.
Yeah, so 2 turrets, a dragon. Someone made a blunder on the side of Michigan. That is quite a big macro mishap, as the gold lead just balloons. Not to mention a dragon. Usually you get one or the other, Gordo. Usually you get a dragon or you get a bunch of gold. You typically don't see getting both at the same time. So something has seriously gone wrong for Michigan. They went for a high risk reward and they don't get anything.
Yeah, and they need to find angles like that. You know, they're not going to be able to win these fair, even fights anymore. So they need to try to find unfair ones. But definitely not the time or the place there, with the Rift Herald being dropped in mid lane. Accelerates how quickly they can get an answer from TA Power. And they are not going to get anything back for it. Now back to their side laning ways. Orisi's catching top, Maximo's catching bot, and still gold and level leads for these solo laners going to continue to make these situations very difficult, as they're even losing their red side top jungle.
Well, all those turrets went down, so they have 0 jungle control here. They might go for a fight, though, just to contest. And it looks like there's going to be a fight on 2 fronts. Orisi's, I don't think you're winning this one. Going to try to get out.
Yeah, it does flash away there, and now it's a 3-on-3. No solo laners involved. This is a decent chance for Michigan. Tay throwing through the damage, Bad falling very low. They go in onto Lokidosi. Duan trying to make the big play, but he's going to get taken down as Turk pins him with the anchor. And now Soma and Tay have to try to find their way out of here, but Bad is already cutting them off on the flank. Flash over, back into the wall. I Am Sam arrives to the play, but he only even gets his name on one of them. It's a double kill for Lokidosi as Bad stays on top of the enemy bot lane, keeps him pinned down, and picks up 3 for the side of TA Power. Make it 4, as it looks like Orsi's lost that one-on-one in the top lane.
All right, you know in those horror movies where the villain just like walking at you, but then they're still catching up at all times? That's what I Am Sam was doing right there with the Dead Man's Plate and the Ghost. He was just speeding at them. They flash over the wall, and he's there again to secure the kill. I Am Sam just massive on this Darius. Mark Boots out of mana, so if they do catch him, I don't think his odds of getting out are that great. But it looks like he might have movement speed.
Gonna beat on him here a little bit. They've got the stun. This is gonna be a kill for Michigan. They finally get something. He's trying to buy time, but his team's just a little too far. Shutdown goes over to Duan, and that is going to be Michigan getting at least a little smidgen of something back.
Yeah, they get a little bit, but everything has gone awry. This is this 1v1 on the top side. Orsi's just... Oh, he went right back in. Didn't expect the flash decimate here. And here's that fight. Duan, he's trying to get on the back line, but remember, his eye is so good at avoiding the dive. And I am saying, look at this speed just running at him like a race car here. They flash over the wall, and he comes around the corner, and he's still chasing the wind. Drake really helping out that chase from I Am Sam as he was speeding around the red buff. And now, I mean, Team Ambition, they have control of the dragon. They have control of the jungles if they get the prio here. And, oh wait.
Orsi's finding a bit of a pick here. Bad is pretty tanky. He is triggering that steadfast presence, but will drop anyway. Orsi's did use the ultimate for that. It's a 5 versus 4 now, but I don't think TA Power cares. Lokidosi rips through Maximos with some help from I Am Sam, and it's now a 4 versus 4 on the map. Teleport to top lane from Mark Boots. He could get the cutoff here. They are looking to get even more out of this fight. Mark Boots has to be a little careful about when he engages, but I Am Sam coming in from the top, steals away the Slicing Maelstrom to slow everybody down, is losing health very quickly, but here's the rest of the team, and here's the Darius going in for resets. That's the double kill, and is looking to get even more off the hemorrhage. Pull back in from the dredge line. That's going to be a triple going over to I Am Sam, and it's only Soma left alive, choosing to execute to the turret rather than make it a quadra. That's going to be Team Ambition Power with full control over Baron.
Yeah, they just steamrolled that fight as soon as I Am Sam got in range, completely destroying, decimating their life bars here. And not to mention, Duan was dead from the beginning, so they could have went for this Baron regardless if Michigan was able to get out. And this Darius, I mean, I thought he was pinned for a bad time in this game, but I guess I was completely wrong in that read because he's taken over. It's the complete opposite. I Am Sam is looking like the true villain for Michigan right here.
I warned you about I Am Sam, man. He might be Plat 1 right now, but he is a monster on this Darius. And gotta give him the respect he deserves on this pick. They get 2 big kills here, which to Michigan, you know, compared to how the rest of this game has gone, is real good, but they cannot stand up to Darius.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they get in the range, and Turk, of course, assisting in locking down for I Am Sam to pick up the kills. But now they realize they have to get out there. It's not a numbers advantage. TP coming from behind. And look how fast I Am Sam is here on the rotate. He actually goes the long way around, and look how close he is to actually catching up to them. They know their time is running out, so they go for the engage of Mark Boots here. And it's good effort, and if they had more damage in the tank, they would be able to win. But I Am Sam comes in, just completely hits the right targets from the start, and now Tay on the run is there, but Turk has enough mana and enough CD to get the last hook, and that's that triple kill from Darius. And with the Baron, I think they're going to be able to seal the deal here, Gordo. It's looking like Team Ambition are the stronger ones right now.
Absolutely. Racing down mid now with the Baron buff at their backs, threatening that inhibitor, but they want blood. They're out for it. I Am Sam looking around, seeing who they can find. They find Tay isolated over the wall,
No,
but only
no.
face to face with Darius. And I Am Sam gonna easily take this one out as he goes on a rampage. Now a bit bad, marking the rest of the team. Duan is stuck in the Dragon Pit, but they want the bigger number. They want 3 kills because I Am Sam can clean it up easily. Stepping forward, looking for as much as he can get. Mark Boots steals away what could have been the pentakill, but it's at least gonna be a quadra as I Am Sam steps forward, executes one more, and Team Ambition Power are gonna take game number 1.
All right, that definitely would have been a quadra. I mean, a penta if they let that happen. And they're just going to steamroll through that fight. I mean, it was a bounce house on whatever target they chose. No way to get out of that one. With the Baron and those mid turrets down, they're just going to completely destroy the base here. That was just an absolute deletion. And now the Nexus, there's no chance for it. Duan trying to do his best, but it ain't going to be enough. Team Ambition in an absolute slaughter are going to win game number 1 off the back of I Am Sam, and a bit bad on that top side. Gotta give credit to the jungler too. It's hard to stomp a lane all by yourself, so that was a 2v1 in that top side as Orsies was not able to recover, and Team Ambition, they just make it look easy.
Absolutely here. Team Ambition, a dominant game number 1 performance. And, both teams looking to play through that top side, both paying some nice visits up there, especially Bad, who, doesn't work the first time, doesn't work the second time, doesn't even really work the third time as he ends up picking up the kill. But you just keep paying a visit up there until eventually you can develop a nice big lead for your Darius, and it does work out eventually. Can't get a lot done on the Lee Sin early for Duan, and that's really going to have to change if you're going to go for similar strategies like this, where you got the enabling mid lanes trying to set up for a big carry jungle performance.
Yeah, I think the one thing that really went awry for Michigan is when Maximus went up to that top side, and it ended up actually being a 2v2. They thought it was a 2v1 just based off the position of Orsies there, and a bit bad, just right in perfect position to turn that around. And once that double kill hits onto that Darius, I mean, that like, oh no, they're in trouble, because I Am Sad picks up the double kill, gets the push in, denies CS. Huge EXP lead for Mark Boots as well into the Ivern. So I mean, it's hard to pin it all in one play, but let's just say that play was a huge factor for that victory for Team Ambition.
Definitely was here. We're going to throw it to a break while we get into the lobby for game number 2, but definitely a lot to think about for the University of Michigan coming into the rest of the series. We will be back very shortly, but we will see you all before too long. Welcome back, everybody, to the Risen Divine League with our winners semi-final, where Team Ambition Power are 1-0 up over the University of Michigan. We're going to be looking to clap back here in this game number 2. Looks like we're going to be keeping the same sides coming into this game, so going to still be TA on blue. U of M continues to select the red side.
Yeah, I mean, the blind pick, Zaya, seemed to work out just fine. They actually got countered by the Kennen and were able to win on that side. So that's a huge victory for the side of Team Ambition. I mean, that was the pivotal matchup, Gordo, right? That was the one where if it goes in the way of the Kennen, that's huge team fight damage, huge burst for the side of Michigan. But if it goes in the side of I'm San, he's just going to be able to completely destroy the front line. And pretty much just the side of the University of Michigan were just running in fear every time that Darius showed up.
Absolutely. And gonna see if that results in a Darius ban, Crims. I really do think that that's a prerequisite to be playing against this TA Power roster. And given how many bans TA is dedicating over to the top lane, you would think he could spare one or two from Michigan, right?
Yeah, I think they might be able to pull some strings, change the bans around here. Let's talk about the Ivern. I think the Ivern did his job. I wouldn't blame Maximus at all. Silas wasn't able to really skirmish him or do anything in the lane, and was able to multiple times roam up to assist for the Kennen, but it didn't work out every time in that roam. Maybe Duwon coming up there as the third man was the play. So in terms of like the picks themselves, I think maybe the Kennen is supposed to win. Maybe could have played a bit better, maybe not, but they definitely did not play the map as well as they should have, because that 2v2 on the top side was so huge for the side of I Am Sad. So we'll see if Michigan go with a similar strategy. Maybe some more kite this time if you are willing to let the Darius go through. Or if you just want to fight it front to back, ban the Darius so he doesn't destroy your front line.
Yeah, that's quite the damage chart right there. When your Zaya does the third most damage in the game, something has gone wrong in the solo lanes for certain, as they don't even really need to play the more traditional front-to-back team fights. They just have to kind of be there as an insurance measure, as I Am Sam and Mark Boots find all that they need to find. Really solid performance all around there. Very close to a perfect game objectives-wise. They do get that one dragon, but no turrets go over to Michigan throughout that first game. So definitely agree with you on the macro point, as so far we are running back our draft from game number 1. Although this time the Orianna ban coming first. This was a Zeri last time. It should be a Darius this time, Crims.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, Zeri's such a powerhouse in team fights. So maybe they're more scared of that still yet again, as they're really ticking down the clock for this last ban.
Maybe you could save it for phase 2.
Yeah, I think you can save it. I mean, look, it'd be very questionable to B3 a Darius or B2 a Darius here, because there's no bans into the free counter. But I mean, look, I mean, they got countered last time, worked for them. They go with the Poppy. They thought Poppy ganks were a problem. That was certainly factor game number 1. Bad was able to find multiple ganks onto Kennen in that early phase. Zeri is going to come through at the cost of the Zaya Rakan. So that is a very strong bot lane right there. Has great scaling, and with the bonuses of both of these champions together, really increases the effectiveness and Zaya Rakan in those team fights here. Zeri can't go with her best friend Yuumi, So might just have to find a pal in the Lulu instead, or they could just go Zeri. Not weird combo, but you do see it often because of that Rakan. Annie does sound a bit better for the early lane phase, but the same concept applies. Lockdown and burst to make sure Rakan does not have a good time in lane, and doubles as a flex pick.
Yeah, I think Turk has a good Lulu. I wouldn't mind seeing the Lulu here and then taking the Annie towards mid lane. But you can also take Annie support with Zeri. That works just as fine as well. They're hovering the Graves here for bad. This is a big bad pick. He does like the selection. Talking about the player, not the quality, as he does lock it on in. So will be playing that comfort there. He loves to play these carry style junglers, and they're a bit back this patch, Crims, now that you get a little more gold from your jungle.
Yeah, Graves is able to farm and get more gold now, so that is good. Also can play burst into the Xayah, doesn't have to commit himself as much as other champions, so can negate a bit of effectiveness from Xayah. Rakan getting onto Graves, though, he's kind of short range, so that's a problem. Lilia is going to be able to use magic damage to cut through the Graves, and will be in range of Annie as well at the same time for her counter engage. So Lilia going to be a decent pick into the Graves, can also chase him down as well. Darius, Gordo, they listened, they heard you. Your complaints have been answered. No Darius for I Am Sad.
Makes a lot of sense to take that one off of Sam's plate. And, Duan locking in the Lilia. This is really kind of his bread and butter. Not the Lilia specifically, but he loves to play these AP carry-centric junglers. If you look at his solo queue account, it's Elise, it's Echo, it's Maokai, which is nerfed now, but used to be one of those AP kind of carry-ish junglers. And, Lilia's a little bit down that list. There's a few more meta things in the way of Viego, the Wukong, those sorts of things. But still a similar play style where you want to be that magic damage source for your team. Enables you to pick stuff like AD mid laners. So does that Kennen that we saw last game.
Oh,
or you
wow.
can just take Zillion and run at them real fast. That's an option as well, as University of Michigan, they're all in on the supportive mid laners this series.
Yeah, the Zillion just completely speed locked in there. Interesting that they go ahead and they blind it. I wonder if they're trying to do some kind of weird, hey, we could actually go top Zillion shenanigans. But most are only going to be a scaler in the mid lane. It does counteract some of the burst from the Annie Graves, and not to mention the Syndra, if they do lock that in. Bit confused on that because Zillion can revive a target that gets bursted down. However, harder to do that for the team, so the Annie Graves Syndra, they do still have that AoE burst capabilities. So Team Ambition, they're going with the heavy burst comp and then Zeri to clean up after the fight, get some shutdowns on the way out, and kill people who are trying to run away in fear, as they're going to go ahead and lock in the Gragas, a great disruptor in the current meta. Can go tanky, can go burst, whatever you need. So it ends up being very flexible. And they tricked me last moment and lock in Ornn. I love when they do that, Gordo.
Yeah, and it feels like what they really needed here. I would love a Scion here for Michigan. We've seen a disturbing lack of Cho'Gath as well. I think that champion's nutty on the current patch.
Okay.
Hovering around to some different top laners here right now. You would think that you want some true frontline here. Yeah, you've got the Zillion, but that's not quite going to do enough unless you go for that kind of pseudo-tank Lilia build with the Frozen Heart. And that's not really what folks go too often these days. But we'll see. They're hovering around from carry to carry. They definitely want to take a winning matchup for Orisi's, and that is something that's a little bit more in his traditional wheelhouse.
Okay, so the Ornn is going to be paired up against the Yone here. And the Yone's got some really good engage. I like Ornn into Xayah, Gordo, because in my mind, if you do it right, pretty much burns the Xayah ultimate for free, the Featherstorm, right away at the start. And that could lead to Xayah being caught out by multiple things. In this case, Annie Grave Syndra is a scary burst duo that could be hunting you down. Now, the Zillion going to cover for that a little bit. And the Yone does give some threat onto Team Ambition's backline. The Syndra Zeri don't want to be caught up in fate sealed by the Yone there. And Zillion speed can make that quite troublesome to deal with here. So Michigan, they don't have their front line like you're talking about, but they do have damage in loads.
Yeah, and you can kind of substitute Zillion for a frontline. Means that, really what does a frontline do, right, Crimson? It buys time for your backline to keep doing damage, and it represents a barrier that stops your opponents from stepping forward. Now, a Lilia or a Yone can do that if they step up and then get immediately chrono shifted and your opponents can't step past them because they know they're about to come back up in a second. So you can kind of build your own front line utilizing a good Zillion ultimate, but it means you are
Mhm.
entirely reliant on that ability to have any kind of capacity to take a proper front to back team fight, right? If you have to blow that ability to save somebody from getting picked, if you have to blow it to save yourself, then immediately that you are one Ornhorn away from taking the worst team fight of your life. And that's just something Michigan's going to have to play around throughout this game.
Yeah, Michigan has a lot of execution required here because of that lack of front line that you're mentioning. They do have amazing counter turn though. If you look, they have the Lilia Rakan, and with the Zillion and the Yone just on top of that as well. If you they're really looking for Team Ambition to over engage. And as soon as they do, they can hit that Lily ultimate, hit the Rakan, just turn on all their R's. And if they're over diving on Zaya, something like that, they could just completely outburst Team Ambition if they just take that step too far. So we're really looking for Team Ambition to play measured. If they are not on objective first, they have to be very careful not to overdive. Make sure they're burning things properly before they really commit, because otherwise, if they do pull the trigger too quickly, too soon, it's going to end up burning them instead. And all that return fire from Michigan is just going to completely wipe them. So a bit more heavy execution on Michigan's comp here, but they do have tools to answer what Team Ambition have. That being said, if they're behind, I think it's going to be hard for them to get in objectives because that lack of a tank. They're going to have to face check so many things. And yeah, Lilia can be tanky, but if you're running into this Syndra Annie, I mean, that's just a free stun and potentially a free kill.
And I like the Syndra pick specifically for those reasons, right? Because you get to have a solid lane up against Maximos on the Zillion. You get time to scale up on your Syndra because she is a little bit more of a scaly mid laner than the lane dominant mid laner that she once was. And you get this really powerful set of targeted burst damage that you can even pair alongside something like the collateral damage from Graves to force out that Zillion ultimate early on. You know, if you get the balls layered down, if you punish somebody for face checking, if you just see Duan or Soma up a little bit too far, push that R button, force out the chrono shift, you know, that gets you into these sorts of favorable situations that you want to be in. You do not want the chrono shift coming out mid team fight and throwing off your whole game plan after you've committed some of these super important engage or burst abilities. You want to force it out beforehand on some kind of pick or, you know, tentative engage scenario. You know, you want to just dip your toes into the water, get out that chrono shift, then after it's done with, you can go back in and you can do your engage in earnest.
Yeah, it's got to be very measured from Team Ambition. They have to know what
Mhm.
they're doing, know that they're going to be removing some ultimates or summoner spells very wisely. So Michigan's kind of forced them into playing smart here. So we'll see. I mean, who's better at the chess game, right? Because they're going to make a move and then Michigan's going to have a response. And if they have a good response, then Team Ambition's going to have to rethink. So this is going to be some really smart gameplay from both of these teams if they want to play these comps out properly. And I mean, doing that on the fly is going to be really difficult. So Michigan might be pulling Team Ambition into a mistake, or they might make a fumble themselves, and Team Ambition can completely. I mean, like if they end up burning all their defensives, and then Team Ambition still has Ornn Ultimate or something, then that's just going to be a wipe, right? So this is some really high level gameplay that we're expecting from both of these teams here. And I mean, that's what I want to see at this level.
Absolutely. That is what we're going to be on the lookout for. You know, we've seen a lot of these supportive style mid laners out of Michigan, so they should be comfortable with their use. And going to be excited to see Orsi's on this sort of carry now that, you know, he does get pretty close to a free lane out of it, right? The Ornn not going to really be having solo kill pressure on the Yone, at least if you can navigate through the first couple of levels, not get cheesed out by Bellows Breath or something like that. Should be able to get up his farm. Has a lot of good targets to dive onto. You know, Graves gets some armor from the passive off of his True Grit and stuff like that, but still definitely a target you can go onto as the Yone, the Zeri, the Annie, the Syndra. They're all targets you want to find if you can get these great flank angles or if you can get set up really effectively by the Lilia. So I'm going to, you know, have my eyes on Orsi's to see if he can represent and be that kind of carry player that you know he wants to be based on his champion pool. gets another shot at it here after a disappointing performance on the Kennen in game number 1.
Yeah, the Kennen did not go his way. We'll see if Yone is going to improve better. And let's not underestimate Ornn. You said, yeah, if you don't get cheesed early, but Ornn's not like other tanks who are kind of just a punching bag in the lane phase. Ornn can fight back. And so that he actually gets outscaled in tankiness, but provides the item damage for the rest of the team in his scaling. So he doesn't actually receive as much scaling as the other tanks like the Scion or potentially something like the Malphite like that. So Ornn can win in the early game. Let's not count him out just yet. But the advantage is again in Orc's hands. Can you win this time and set up your team for a good team fight?
Yeah. You know who else isn't a tank like that, by the way, Krems, is the Cho'Gath, who is
Yeah.
mysteriously absent from this entire series. I'll just say, if we end up going to game 3, I want to see Big Void Salamander on the Rift, all right? Because
you go
he's
with
broken
Salamander.
right now. He's
You
so
go
good.
Salamander? I mean,
What's
most people
that?
say shrimp. Most people go with like shrimp or
I
something
feel like,
like
I don't know,
that.
it's something about on his base skin, he's got like the black stripes across the red back, and that just yells Salamander to me.
He seems
Uh,
like a crustacean to me, at least. He's got
He's
like a
got some
shell.
crab features for sure. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying with the, especially again on the base skin. He's got the things over his head. Like,
We
I
could
see what you're saying.
we could go like mollusk if you want to go that route. I believe he could be a mollusk. It'd be kind of hard to, to
I think the
take down.
legs really ruin that for me. I feel like I don't know any
Well, spiders
mollusks.
are mollusks, right? So and they
They
have
are.
the similar legs. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know.
At least they're closely related. I don't know. See, like,
Okay.
uh, I mean, they have 8 legs, right? I don't know. All right, maybe
Are you
some of
thinking
them
of
are correct.
arachnids? Because I think mollusks are
I'm
like oysters and stuff, right? They're like
Yeah, no. I mean, definitely octopuses. Definitely octopuses and squids. I don't know. I was just joking with the 8 legs thing. I was just trying to throw. So Cho'Gath has 8 legs. Does he have? I don't remember. I don't remember
Cho'Gath. I don't even
counting.
think Cho'Gath has 8 legs. Cho'Gath has 2
Is
legs.
6? Is it
He's 2
6?
legs and
No, but
he's
what are the other things are legs, right? He just uses them like I don't
He
know.
doesn't walk on. No,
Someone
are they
get me
really
off the
legs?
desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Someone get me off
do
the
a quick
desk.
biology. Well, no, we can't do a biology check-in on Cho'Gath because he's not in the game. So
That's
once
true.
again, yet another layer for why we need this champion picked, so we can do a quick analysis once we get into the game. But that's going to require Michigan to take us to game number 3 here. So they are going to have to put up or shut up, or they are going to be dropping down to the losers bracket and hoping to earn themselves a rematch later on in the bracket. So we are getting loaded onto the Rift. Might just have a little bit of pause as we go into it here. So we can just keep chatting about these matchups. What do you think about the Zeri Annie duo? I saw some flame coming into that from the chat. As you very typically see the enchanters with Zeri, but since the Annie buffs, I've seen this Zeri Annie lane quite a few times.
It's like a Zeri Nautilus lane. Like, it's not the optimal support for Zeri, but you're just picking Annie Nautilus because there's a Rakan on the enemy team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more for the lane phase, and she kind of does work with the rest of the team, to be honest. I think Zeri is more of the odd man out. So I think everyone's right to criticize this a little bit. Obviously, if Zeri could still do her job as the cleanup AD carry once the team fight's won, she's really good at chasing down people and making sure that you win harder. Can provide good team fight damage as well. So the Zeri, understandable, questionable. There's probably other AD carries that make a lot more sense. It's just that they needed to counter Rakan somehow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough lane regardless of against Xayah Rakan. She's very powerful, or they are very powerful as a duo. They get all those additional aspects to their abilities when they're picked together. And Rakan has so much range that he can go in and out from, so he can play deeper, and he gets that extra damage as well off of the Xayah feathers. So definitely a matchup you have to be on the lookout for, and you need to have some way of stopping Soma from just being on top of your face the whole lane long.
Yeah.
Curious to see this Lilia too, by the way. I mean, it is kind of a farming jungle v farming jungle matchup. But ever since those last Lilia buffs, where she gets more healing off her passive that came through sometime last season, I think she's been a little bit slept on. She has a very solid clear. That makes way more of a difference this patch than it did previous patches, because jungle camps are worth more gold, so it's more worthwhile to farm them than to just sit bot lane AFK all game. And, she can be a pretty powerful threat in her own right. She has a ton of sticking power, and against what is a semi-immobile team comp. You know, the Zeri's going to dash over a wall, but anybody else, if she finds them at a relatively low HP value, she can chase for a long time and stick to you with those blooming blows. Gonna be keeping an eye on what Duan can get done on this Lilia, because I think she could have a big impact here.
Yeah, she's gonna work well into the Annie and the Graves and the Ornn. Not so much the Syndra, because anyone who could significantly outrange her with a stun on top of that is gonna give her trouble. I don't think. I mean, what really took Lilia out of the game was the phase rush nerf plus her own speed nerfs. So that's gonna also hurt against this Zeri here. Now they did supplant that with a little bit of healing buffs as well. So that's going to make her survivability a bit better, and her jungling is going to be a bit more survivable. That does work into the Graves. She's still going to be able to catch up to the Graves and provide a lot of sticking magic damage, which Graves, by the way, hates that. He hates magic damage, and he hates champions that stick onto him. So the Lily ends up being good there. She's going to have enough HP to survive the initial Annie Graves burst if they're in range, and then supply that counter engage there. And if she catches any of those, I mean, if she catches 3, she's doing great. That's her job. If she catches 4 or 5, like this Duan Lilia is going to be performing excellently. That's over expectations here. Just the 3 should be good enough. And once that sleep comes through, they're going to be, it's just going to be like taking candy from a baby to win the team fights after that.
Yeah, they do have some long chain CC on the side of Michigan here. If they can get the sleep, turn that into a double bomb, turn that into a grand entrance, turn that into a fate sealed. Anything like that you can chain together going to be super powerful and going to certainly mean the end of almost anybody on this team. I Am Sam is really going to be bringing up the tank front, but anybody else, if you're getting caught in a chain like that, you are going down for certain. Even I Am Sam really might not be able to stand up to it once they get a little bit of armor pen in the pockets of Orsies and Tay. We are waiting to get into game here. We do have a little bit of connection issues coming through on the Michigan side, so until those can be resolved, you're just going to be hanging with Crimson Eye, and we'll keep trying to find things to chat about. These champions here.
Maybe we could go back to biology, or we should
go back.
We should dip out of that.
What is Cho'Gath?
What is Cho'Gath? I mean, look, yeah, definitely not a mollusk. Arachnid potential, but not there. Crustacean though is my most solid bet. He has 6. I got a picture of him. He's got 6 appendages. Is that what we're gonna call them? He's got 2 claw ones.
Just he's standing up doesn't mean that they're not legs. I guess I'll give you that much.
Yeah, so he's got 2 claw ones. He's got 2 stabby ones, and he's got 2 legs. So somewhat humanoid, because he definitely has like 2 different legs, but maybe the claw and the stabby bits are modified legs. That that term in biology, modified legs. So it could be that. He's got pincers too.
He's definitely he's got pinchers. I see what you're saying with the crab thing. He definitely has some kind of shell going on here, right?
He's like lobsters are like his cousin,
Sure. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I don't know. He shoots spikes. I don't think very few animals that actually shoot spikes other than like porcupines.
Oh.
So I don't think that means anything. He's carnivorous, spikes? Right? He eats living things. That's the name of his passive, and he obviously feast. He does eat quite a few things.
Oh yeah. He's a voracious predator, of course.
Yeah, so you've got that going on. I mean, isn't the whole concept of the void, right, in the lore is supposed to be that they're not normal animals, right? So maybe
Oh yeah.
Maybe
it's Vel'Koz who's like the mollusk, right? Vel'Koz is the one who's like a mollusk. Oh, here we got a picture of Cho'Gath dancing. Thank you, Caddy.
Thank you, Caddy.
We got a reference here.
This is a skin too, isn't it? This isn't base Cho'Gath. This is a
Back when so this is Cho'Gath's. Some of his early skins are literally just color palette swaps, which would now not even count as a skin, by the way. So to all the people who bought the old
This
Cho'Gath
is definitely
skins.
like pre-texture update too. This is like Nightmare Cho'Gath or something, pre-texture update, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to find.
Does he have a shrimp tail? He looks like he has a shrimp tail. Look at that.
You're right. That is pretty shrimp-like. I see. Yeah, I'm getting more sold on the crustacean thing the more you bring it up. Definitely some vibes of that there. He's definitely like, they tend to be a little bit more insect-ish.
I guess
Because
so.
if you consider all the Void things related to each other, right? It's like it's him and Kha'Zix and Rek'Sai. They're all like they're all Void born, right? They're all like
Yeah. I don't know what the heck Rek'Sai is though, and no one's really come up with
well,
anything
so
that's
the
decent.
weirdest thing about Rek'Sai, right, is and maybe some lore expert in the chat can help me out here, but she's supposed to be like the Void is supposed to be like a totally different place with all sorts of different creatures, right?
Right.
But Rek'Sai is just a big version of a creature that already lives on Runeterra. So there's just like a big. They're called like Zersai or whatever. They like there's a
What
bunch of
the?
them. There's like a bunch
This
of
is a deep
little
cut.
I
This is
know.
a
Well,
deep
like
cut.
they're things in Runeterra and they're things in the lore and stuff. They're
Well,
like
doesn't the if things fall into the void, they get corrupted, right?
maybe.
So
So
is that
maybe
what
that's
that
the
is?
deal. Maybe that's the deal. Cause yeah, like there's supposed to be a bunch of things like Rek'Sai that are already there. They're just like they're just not that big. They're she's the big one.
I mean, the Rift Herald's a big scuttle crab, right? So there's that.
True, true. Yeah. So I guess it's probably something like that. That's another crustacean, by the way. I think that's a point for crustacean over insect or whatever the rest of them are.
Team
I just
Crustacean looking pretty good right now.
for sure. Who are we? We're definitely missing a void monster or two, right? We got Vel'Koz, we got Bel'Veth.
Vel'Koz?
Bel'Veth is the new one.
Yeah, Manta Ray.
I don't. Bel'Veth's like a manta ray.
Is it
So
all like sea related though? I'm wondering. Let's get Rek'Sai
I
up
guess
on
they
screen.
like Kha'Zix isn't. Kha'Zix is like
Yeah,
very
he's definitely an
land-based
insect.
insect. He's got the wings and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. What is Rek'Sai like look like though?
Well, she's like. I guess she like
Centipede-ish?
scorpion probably mostly, right? She's probably more scorpion than anything. And then she's got like mole vibes too, because she's got no eyes and she burrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think like build wise, she's very scorpion y. She's got hang on, I gotta see what Rek'Sai's tail looks like.
Yeah.
now. Let
I
me get it.
gotta. Yeah. Rek'Sai. I mean, look, you don't really see the champion anymore ever since they did the non AOE knockup change. But yeah, I'm very confused.
She's got a bit of a shark vibe too, because when she's
They call her
underground, she's
that.
got like the dorsal fin
Yeah.
coming up as she like walks around. But looking for like a big full screen Rek'Sai, she's kind of like obviously she's not like a full scorpion because thank you, Caddy, as we got the model viewer up here.
Oh, here we
Bit of
go.
a
Look
stinger
at
going
this.
on there. So it's kind of like she's like a shark scorpion mole thing. The tongue on
Wow.
the model viewer is ridiculous, by the way. That thing is straight out.
It's a spear. She's got a spear for a tongue here. Well, yeah, what is this tail construction? So she's got claws and she's got spike legs. This is very weird.
Yeah, she's got 6 legs too. Scorpions have 8 legs. So
Very yeah, very hard to know what creature this is.
yeah, not pure scorpion for sure.
Maybe-
She's got the predator mandible thing going on too.
Wait, she's a xenomorph.
yeah.
She's like a miniature xenomorph. Right?
Yeah, I
Right?
guess so. I think of it. She's both alien and predator. But,
Yeah, she is. She's got the predator mouth for sure. That's very you can't get away with that these days. If you do the predator mouth, everyone knows it's the predator mouth. Oh my gosh. That is all right, Caddy. A plus for production. He always comes in,
yeah,
saves the day.
saving it here. Thank you for hanging with us, everyone who's still here. We are still dealing with some connection issues on one of the teams, so just figuring stuff out.
Yeah,
as
someone's
we
got to
go
run to
through here.
Starbucks or McDonald's with their laptop.
That might be the move. Yeah, I mean, I used to play on a laptop, Crims. I don't know about you these days. I've moved away from it now. It just
Smart.
it sits in my corner and is there to stream things sometimes, and that's about all I use it for. So if my home internet cuts out, I'm done. I'm out of here. You're casting this solo. So hopefully our boys on Michigan aren't stuck in that position.
I always hated using a laptop permanently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've started on desktop and then I moved to laptop for school. Like they literally force you to get a laptop for school. At least I was. And I was not happy the whole time. I was completely pissed. I was like, this is stupid. It's just a slower version of my desktop. Why can't I just do this at home?
Yeah, I always grew up with crap computers. My family didn't care about the computers that much, so I grew up with crap computers. So I was excited when I had when I got the gaming laptop, and then then 6 years later, those things do not last that long.
Oh
I'm
no.
trying to cast on. If you go find some real old Divine League VODs, and by real old I mean like 18 months ago, and go
That's very
go
old
find
in casting years.
it is. It's a lot of time in League of Legends. In esports years, that's like a decade.
Yeah. That's it.
And yeah, so if you rewind to some of those old Divine League VODs, I'm sure they're on YouTube or something. You can see my old bedroom before I had the separate office, and you can see that we are just stuck on. Like, I am very clearly using one computer for everything. I've got a laptop. It's balanced on top of a bunch of textbooks. And my webcam is balanced on top of the laptop, which is balanced on top of a bunch of textbooks. We are clearly at risk of just everything falling down at any moment during the cast. It's and then you can also like I'm definitely like eyes down the entire broadcast because I have
Oh,
one
no.
screen that I'm flipping through for what's on the broadcast and what's on the Discord from production and what's on the draft. So definitely a better vibe to be on the
So
desktop.
this
like
is the
here.
improved Gordo production.
This is
And
actually.
yet your camera still cuts out every other stream.
Look, man, that's not a PC thing. First of all, it hasn't cut out once yet.
I know
So
you're
if it
doing
does
great,
now,
but we
it's
might
'cause
jinx it.
If it does, if it does now, it's because
you can blame me. I'll take full credit for
But it's
that one
also
if it
like,
happens.
I mean, the little light on the camera's on the whole time, and my upload speed is going the whole time. So it's really weird. It's just and the only thing it takes to fix it is production side refreshing. Caddy found it. Caddy's gonna bring it up here. Also, I don't know if Caddy's memeing or not, but Caddy did say at this point he is gonna play on a laptop. Whoa! I hear metal music.
I'm getting some pentakill blasting in my ears. Oh, we're just jamming now.
We are.
What is
Well,
what
I'm
is
really
Caddy
missed on a-
doing? What is
Yeah, I don't know
well,
what
I'm
he
missing
meant
on a
by
banger.
he messaged found it in chat, and I was expecting like a screenshot of my
I guess-
scuff setup. But instead we just have this.
This is pentakill, right? All right. Well,
Wait, can they even hear the music on stream?
Yeah, is it just me? Is it just me and Gordo who can hear
Wait,
the music?
are we the only?
Everyone gets music.
Not on the stream. Okay.
Oh,
they
it's just us. So now we
Caddy
look
is
crazy. We looked
blasting-
crazy. Thank you, Caddy.
Caddy is blasting pentakill into the I guess the
Do you,
parsec right now.
First metal song Riot released.
Yeah, it was with that cinematic, right?
No, it was Broloff.
Oh crap. you're
No,
right.
does no one remember Broloff's song? That song was actually really good. I like
That's
the
an old
Broloff
school
song. I really like that one. I thought it was hilarious too. And I
Alright.
think, I do want to get into this game, so I hope T1 has fixed his internet issues.
Yep.
Here.
We'll see. There's the metal music again. I don't know. Maybe this time it's on stream. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just Prod messing with Crimson Eye once again.
Yeah, Caddy just messing with us. Makes us look crazy.
Let's go see.
Oh, look
Here's
at
old
young
school. This is
Gordo.
Risen Champions League. Look at young Gopherino.
This is literally just a year and a half, but we're gonna call you Young Gordo.
It's
a
young
Gopherino.
Gopherino. It's me like 20 pounds ago because this is like early COVID.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone did plump up due to COVID here, but look at this. You know, the lighting
Classic.
doesn't give you the best look here, Gordo. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I mean, this is
you've
pre-ring
improved.
light Gordo too, so you got to give me a lot of excuses here. There's a lot going on here.
Does Gopherino just have like a fucking karaoke mic? What is that?
Yeah, he might. He used to have like he used to have like like an external like
Oh my
like
god!
a very
and he-
traditional like microphone, like
Yeah.
what
Oh my god!
mean,
he's
like-
blasting a backlight that's not really supposed to, a lamp as a backlight. Oh
That's-
my god!
That's Keelix, by the way. Mazel did not used to Mazel did not used to look like that. That's
Yeah, I was confused. I didn't want to comment yet. I was like,
Yeah,
I was about
no,
to say,
that's
yo, he changed a lot.
yeah, Mazel's had a crazy transformation. No, that's Keelix. Who also like we're letting Keelix off with too much of a break here. He is 100%.
Is that off a phone?
Yeah, he is 100% on a cell phone right now, right? Like, it's a nice cell
Yes,
phone,
it
but
looks
he's
like it.
clearly just holding a phone in front of himself, rather than using any sort of webcam. This was
It's the good old days.
Kennedy's editing.
He's doing it live. Oh
He's
my
doing,
gosh.
he's live retcon editing a
Yeah, how
Risen
is he doing
Champions League
this?
broadcast from 2022, 2021. This has to be 2021, by the way. So this is
How
actually
is he
more than
doing this?
this is
He's
more
just
than 18 months ago, because this
he,
must be 2021 Risen Champs. So this is probably this is at least 2 years ago. Um,
okay.
so he's GM of Zeus Gaming at the time, the Toilet Paper Cats, who made a nice run to Proving Grounds. They had, who do they have? They had RBM and Dark Wings, if I'm not mistaken. That was a good team. That was who was on Zeus. This is a good throwback. Oh, okay, we're in the. Are we remaking?
Just a reminder of the champions for everyone. That's in case you forgot. That was like what, 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Hang on. Zeus Gaming was Alorum, RBM, Darkwings, Raheen, and Rhino. And Pukar at head coach, who was very nearly in NACL. He'll be in NACL before too long. He's an NACL level coach. And Darkwings is in NACL, having a nice run over on AOE now these days.
Yeah, I think made qualifier. Oh, I didn't watch their playoff brackets. I don't know how they did.
Do you mind if I spoil it? I know we're
Go
there.
for, you can
So
spoil it if you
they
want.
dropped to the losers bracket off of their match with, I think it was Golden. Yeah, they lost to Golden Guardians, dropped to losers, and then I believe they beat Evil Geniuses to eliminate them. So they are still alive, still fighting to not get relegated. So shout out to AOE. You know, they were in these leagues for forever. I'm sure they played in Risen Divine. I don't remember any specific Risen Divine team that they played on, but they definitely did for a bunch of times. And wait, because this all started because of a conversation about Keelix. Keelix is definitely in the scene on some like real team now. He's like in NACL or something, I thought. No, he's still with Northwood and third party Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors. So he's on that
What
team.
a name.
Yeah, love that team. So third party Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors. Did they make it? Are they in the NACL queue or did they lose? I'd have to check, but
I don't
still
think
a good team, a good at least open qualifiers level team competing over in the NACL. So everybody in that image still around. Go Farino. Couldn't be with us tonight. Didn't want to do the solo hosting job.
Yeah, I mean he could have.
Calling him out on the podcast. If you're not there, go Farino. He's in here. He's in here. He's in the chat.
No, I said it to him technically.
Oh,
I mean, you know, it's hard. It's hard being the third wheel. You know.
Yo, can you join new lobby so we can start? Wait, so there is a new lobby. All right, we're in there.
Wait, why is that being?
Since my lamp was on a chair.
There it is.
I guess that tracks. I'm trying to think, because it had to have been Risen Champs, so it had to have been 2021. Know that for a fact, because obviously there wasn't Risen Champs in 2022.
All right. Okay.
Trying our best to date what tournament that was.
Well, we'll see if we'll make it through. This is probably some of the longest time that we've had to buy here.
Yeah, no, this is getting into like crazy territory. We're doing throwback broadcasts. We're doing.
Did you watch LPL?
I don't watch that much LPL. I'm all in on. So here's the thing, right? And I like to be able to say this because I get to say it proudly. I'm all in on NA League of Legends, baby. So I watch NACL. I of course watch LCS, and I watch NACL qualifiers, and that's a lot of freaking games a week, man. I don't even get to watch LEC anymore. So I am just all in on NA. So yeah, and you know what the coolest thing about that is if you only watch NA League of Legends, then LCS is actually like really good. It's like like when you watch Yeah, like when 75% of the League of Legends you watch is NACL and NACLQ, then LCS is super high level. It's actually it's very fun to watch.
Okay. So like when Prince and Vikla joined, these are like insane rookies that no one knew about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously like conscious to some
No,
degree
I'm
that they
just
aren't rookies, but they do appear very good. Yes,
where did they
and
come from?
then
I'm
I get
just
to and
kidding.
now I get to have faith coming into MSI because by the time we're at MSI, we're not going to have NACLQs will be done. Maybe the promotion tournament will be on, but
Hmm. Oh,
other
there's
than
still
that,
collegiate. Do you watch
yeah,
like C-Lol and stuff?
I try to at least when there's the oh boy, we're in the pause again.
Yeah, we're here, but
Uh,
you know we're in the game.
we are.
Gordo, we're in the game.
We
This
were
is a
in the
step
game
up.
for a lot of this, Crims. That's not that wasn't what was blocking us.
Now we're like mentally in the game. You know, before we were like, we're still we're still like talking, our faces are up. We're buying time. Now we're here. I mean, look, we're not that much better off, but we're at least here.
Yeah. You know where this is really speaking of NA ecosystem, where this is really eating into my time is that I'm behind on NACL playoffs. Of course, there's NACL playoffs
Dude,
going on as we speak.
it's so hard to catch
So
up
I'm
with
falling
NA
even
League.
further behind, and I have to record a podcast on this tomorrow night. So this is
Yeah. And
this
you
is
got to
just
do your
punishing me further for falling behind. So this is why you watch things live,
I
everybody.
mean,
This
you have
is
to
why
do your
you, as individuals, are watching here instead of watching the VOD later on. That's the
well, we,
benefit.
we can't let you miss your weekly NACL power rankings, so
True.
we got to make sure that that keeps up. You can't drop that one, Gordo. Once you drop
Well,
that, it's going to fall from there.
the NACL power rankings just get easier and easier because now there's teams getting eliminated. So we're down to
Yeah,
12
there's
teams.
less
We're
and
going to be down to
less.
12 teams by the end of the night. I don't know what the result is yet, but we're going to start relegating some teams, start seeing Team Ambition, by the way. If we're going to talk about wider NA ecosystem and get away from the Divine League, Team Ambition looking to potentially try to make that fourth seed and see if they can actually get into promotions for the NACL this upcoming split. It's a bit of a tough road. They'd have to beat somebody like Supernova to take that fourth seed, but shout out to them over there, rooting for them from down here in NA Amateur, because the best NACL teams, they're often teams that just run NACL teams, right? They're like your Maryvilles,
Yeah.
or orgs that assembled just to compete there, like TikTok, Tony Top. Those guys are
Those
are
guys.
wild card. Those orgs who
Team
really
Fish
only
Taco.
yeah, exactly. To orgs who form or only participate in League of Legends at that highest level. But shout out to Team Ambition and AOE for still participating down here. AOE not really as much these days now that they're a big NACL org, but for a very long time they were big active members of a lot of these leagues, like Risen Divine. I still think they run
Yeah.
some teams in some leagues, just don't happen to be here at this very split. Team Ambition as well, fielding TA Power. They still field teams at every level. They have a lot of
Yeah.
teams.
They have a lot. They're basically I can't think of anyone else that has more teams in this system. Maybe
Yeah,
Dorado. Dorado might be the only one to come close, but Team Ambition. I mean, look, everyone knows who they are. There's a good reason. They're
yeah.
fielding teams everywhere. Every league has at least one Team Ambition team in it. Can you think of a league that doesn't? I really can't. So they're
Not
such a
not right
huge part of
now.
the scene. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
such a huge part of the scene. So it's good to see them here as well. And I mean, I love the collegiate teams coming in. I mean, that's a
for sure.
really cool addition. They're now, they're joining in on Risen, on Aegis, and all these other leagues here. So I really
For
like
sure.
seeing I really like seeing these teams spread out, playing multiple leagues,
Yeah, for
seeing
sure.
multiple players.
Yeah, trying to get more C-Law under my belt as well. I do watch a bit of C-Law. It's hard to cast for C-Law though. I mean, if you see everybody who has openings for C-Law casters wants you to have experience as a C-Law caster. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like looking for your first job again, right? Everybody wants a little bit of experience, and I cast a lot of C-Law teams. This is I cast Michigan right now. I cast whatever
That's
teams come into
true.
Risen Divine. I cast whatever teams
Wait, does that count as experience? I mean, it
you
should.
would think it should, but apparently it doesn't because nobody is happy with my level of collegiate experience. So we'll have to see. Just do it for my own college. Do you think I'm in college, Go Farino? I'm a boomer,
Go
man.
go
I'm
go call
I'm
up your
ancient.
Go call up your what is it called? The one that you went to. Just say,
My
hey,
alma
can I
mater.
come back?
I did.
Yeah,
I
go
did
back to the
cast.
alma
So,
mater.
well, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm too old now, right? Because I did cast for my college while I was in college a little bit. I cast for the Midwestern Esports Conference, not the one that Unified now runs. There was like some independent collection of like 6 teams that played in the
I
Midwestern
got it.
Esports Conference,
I got
and
it, Gordo.
it's all
Just take
dead.
a class. Just
It's
take a
all dead.
class.
Oh, just
Take
take
a
a
class.
class.
Just
That's
one
the
class,
secret.
you're back in college. Boom, you're in.
Yeah, but I'm
Pick up
too
French
old
or
now,
something. Pick
so
up
it's
French or something.
my league that I cast for in college, the old MEC, not the new one from Unified. Like nobody from there appears to be involved in anything anymore, so nobody even remembers that I did it. Uh, anyway, though, we're finally in the game,
Hey,
Crims. We did it. We bought enough time. Shout out to everybody, by the way, for coming on in here. That's normal. This is to be
all
expected.
right.
The game will start again soon. This just happens when you pause.
All right, Gordo, next pause, we're playing rock, paper, scissors.
All right, that's
over,
fair.
over our cameras. We'll see how that goes. All right. 5 point start again for both of these teams. All right, we're back in it. We need to get a little warmed up though, Gordo. So we'll let that. Hopefully, this game will let us power curve right into that. Oh, you're ready
I'm
to go?
feeling plenty warm, my guy. We've been talking for like 20 minutes straight. I feel like we've already been on a cast. Now I actually have gameplay to talk about, so if anything, it's gotten easier. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, look, we'll wait for one of those hype moments to come up, and I'm sure you're gonna pop off here, as we're gonna have Duwon get a nice little let's start on the bot side. Gonna get that leash, full leash, as well as the cheese is being set up by Turk in the bot side. I mean, look, playing Annie definitely has a lot of burst potential, so the cheese makes a lot of sense. Can control the lane from level 1 if they do get it off here. So that's something to be looking forward to in the next couple of seconds.
Absolutely here. We change over the Twitch tag from just chatting back to League of Legends and are out onto the Rift here. Hopefully these players stay warmed up as well. It can be tough when you're in those extended pause scenarios. You get all set up coming out of draft, know exactly how you want to play the game, and then you just have to sit there for a while. Or they come out of it with these super complex early game plans because they've gotten a lot of time to overthink it. Looks like nobody going to be executing on that so far, but
You know, now that you say that, you know what ruined the level 1, like intricate level 1s? The counter jungling nerf completely ruined that. And I mean, for a whole year, have you seen any interesting level 1s? Not really. So now that it's back, Gordo, you might have brought up something interesting. We might see some better level 1s now.
we might. I think the coolest... Oh, actually, Lokidosi and Turk going aggressive here. Tate's going to go down.
Oh!
And that's going to be first blood picked up by Lokidosi and Turk, utilizing that Zeri passive, getting that last bit of damage.
Yeah, so the control from that lane gave them the first level 2 as well. Turk harassing them without expending the stun, so kept up the pressure. Lokidosi does tried to like react flash, thought Tay was gonna flash, but ended up just preempting it entirely. So is down a flash, but you got the first blood, so that is definitely gonna be worth it. If Duwon doesn't come down for a nice little counter gank.
Absolutely here. The move in onto Maximos here. Turk is going on the roams. Steps up, flashes, gets the flash out of Maximos due to the stun. That's just going to be a summoner advantage earned for Mark Boots in the mid lane.
And that's without bad visiting any lane. The pressure already down from that roam up. So that could secure a kill onto either Mark Boots or Bad if they take a little visit here. Duwon full cleared. Level 4, same with Bad. Has the double buffs. Lokidosi does avoid that knockup. Gonna be fine here. And can absorb shields. So Lokidosi completely fine right now on this bot side.
Stepping up here. RSC's going for a big trade with IM Sam. Doesn't quite have the damage from the Soul Unbound yet. Or from any abilities, really. We'll really want to amp that up with some items and with some levels, but can keep the trades pretty even. It's the beauty of playing against the Ornn instead of something a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, the Ornn has the shield and has the refillable potions there. So with those biscuits, I think Sam's going to be in a great spot. It's really on Orc's here to push this in, get some more scaling done before he can go in for the kill. And besides that early game action, Gordo, both teams are playing pretty composed.
Definitely. If anything, playing a little a little chill outside of the bot lane. Lokidosi and Turk did absolutely find their moments there. Turk off to an early aggressive start, but everybody else keeping their wits about them, going for pretty standard full clear strategies, and that's some of what we expect from Bad. You know, the other side of that turn is that, of course, he's looking for a little bit here. Takes a turret shot. A little questionable, but probably
you definitely get away with not getting your shot if you time it right when the turret hits a minion, or is about to hit a minion. Right when that shot comes out, you could probably get in a nice little trade, get out there. But Orsies, I think he's just looking to pull away to play safe. Maximos here, I think, is the one odd man out. Oh, wait a minute, I am Sam.
Oh, I am Sam, though, out of mana here.
Oh, misses the knockup.
Nice flash from Orsies, but I am Sam doesn't go down. Now Duan looking for the dive. Here comes the Swirl Seed. Can I am Sam clear the wave in time? Absolutely not, as Duan finishes him off, picks up a Dark Harvest stack.
All right, 1-1 now. And importantly, Orsies getting a bit of advantage on the top side with an assist, as well as some minion denial. 8 CS up. We'll see if he can grow that lead there. And did hit 6 first, so I think that's going to be an EXP advantage as well. Bad going to use that top gank as a sign to pick up the dragon here. They did have Prio and bot as well, so no questions about that. Good pickup in response. And now, are they going to play the Rift Herald game on the side of Michigan? Because they have advantage on the top side. And so far they have control. If they pick up this kill, I think they certainly are going to go for it.
Yeah, Duan coming up here. I am Sam is at level 6 here, so we can try to use that to buy a little bit of time. Throws it down, goes in for the charge, gets the knock up onto Orsies, getting tons of damage through with the Bellows Breath. Can he make it a 1-for-1? No! As Orsies gets the damage through with Duan's help and picks up a second kill.
All right, the shielding coming in clutch there. They're going to push that in. No TP. And I am Sam. If they are not careful enough, the Graves will pick up a counter kill on Orsies here. He's looking for an angle.
Ooh, the slow off the Swirl
Oh, it did
Seed.
hit.
Buys enough time. Ooh, that's going to be smokescreen into kill, though. Bad. Finishes him off. Lokidosi and Turk now stepping up here, looking for more plays in the bot lane, but all the action is going to sit top.
Yeah, they picked up another kill. Bot lane supposed to be mostly uninteractive here, but that kill from Lokidosi and Turk may spring some more action here. They're going to get this push in. I mean, Zeri getting a free lane, though, ain't too bad for the side of Team Ambition. I'm sure they're very happy with that.
A free lane plus 400 gold. Lokidosi to get that.
I mean, look at the CS difference.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a substantial lead. I mean, and given the summoner spells as well, just has been a very tough time for Tay and Soma. Going to have to back away here. Just going to continue to fall behind. It's going to be boots 2 for both of the laners from TA Power. They come back to lane much stronger than the opposition.
Yeah, they have full boots completed on Lokidosi and the Vamp Scepter. That's very hard to push Zeri now out of lane. Being able to heal off with the Vamp and then just speed away from trouble because of the boots movement speed difference. Orsies has a deep ward on the side of Team Ambition, so going to be able to spot out Bad if he goes for that clear. And I'm thinking they really want to aim for that Rift Herald using the strength of their Yone, as they certainly have a lot of kill power onto Bad if that occasion arises. Turk.
Don't you do this to me, TA Power. Don't you do this, Turk. Come on, man.
Okay,
all right.
That's
good. What I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, Gordo, we might have to become the masters of buying time, because there's a lot of time that needs to be bought in this match.
Look, I'm just saying our viewership has actually gone down from when it was just us sharing the cameras, sharing our thoughts. So.
Oh no, we have to play rock paper scissors.
We did.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
All right,
oh, I'm on the wrong way. Well, let's make sure you're the right way.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot! Dude, you're clearly trailing behind me.
What are you? These are perfectly synced.
All right, ready? Okay, you do it.
Yeah, go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, we tied twice in a row? Okay.
We did. All right. I think it looks like we're cheating, but I'm pretty confident we're not cheating. I think from our perspective, it looks the same. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm counting that.
Ah.
All right.
Oh wait, we're
Oh,
back
I
in
hear
the
sounds. I
perfect.
hear League of Legends
Perfect.
sounds.
Perfect timing.
Take us back. Take us back. All
All
right,
right,
it's
you have to
bad.
do the next pause,
Actually
though.
getting put to sleep here. Here comes the potential engage. Duan gets him down. Orisi's off the side, picks up his
the
first
resurrect.
kill. Now the dash further in, looking for Turk. Can't quite get the damage through. Mark Boots fending him off with the Dark Spheres is going to be 1 kill over to Michigan. We freeze frame off the back of the pause, but that fight will go on here before too long. Nobody else going to fall.
Oh, here they go for the kill. The turret dive. Loki Dosi's dropping really low. Featherstorm comes out. Is it going to be able to get the recall? In fact, gets cut down, and that's a trade kill, Gordo.
Nice play there by Loki Dosi. Flashes forward, stays ahead of the Blade Caller, and is going to result in a 1-for-1 there. Meanwhile, Mark Boots, he's got the highest health bar off the back of that mid lane skirmish, and so he can just pick up all the turret plates.
Yeah, the CS lead is mounting from the side of Team Ambition, but because of all the kills in that skirmishing, Michigan have found themselves neutralizing this gold difference throughout this game here. And bad, I mean, the Graves does get caught out by Duan. We didn't exactly see how that happened, so I'll trust. We'll see. I'll trust Caddy here. We might be able to recover that, but that kill on the Graves was really big for their team. And look at this, Duan 1-0 and 2, and this is the lead we expect in this matchup versus the Graves.
Absolutely. Rift Herald going to be the next target here. So they are going to look to start things up for the side of TA. They got the numbers to do it. Looks like Bad should be able to get this one for himself. Meanwhile, Soma looking around on the bottom side, but can only get vision. Can't get too much else.
Yeah, that Rift Herald, though, is significant. Loki, again, do they go for it?
Nice dodges there. Avoids pretty much any threat to him. Nothing can actually CC him as he dodges the Grand Entrance and the Swirl Seed. And now can just stand here shooting at Duan the whole way through. Maximos is coming through, but Turk has arrived as well. He does have Timbers. He gets the double stun. And now the dive coming through. It is still a 4 versus 2, but with the help of the turret, Loki Dosi and Turk think they can take it. And Mark Boots arrives from the side, gets a big stun, and forces out Maximos' ultimate, who now has to run away as fast as he can, but there's no second revive for Tay, who will drop as Team Ambition Power even up the scoreboard at 4-4.
Wait, Mark Boots in a bit of a pincer, surrounded on both sides.
Soma going in for the knockup. It will be flashed away from by Mark Boots. Maximos still over the wall, raining down the bombs, getting as much damage as he can, but Loki Dosi is there, and Team Ambition, they still have the health bars to keep fighting, as Bad is looking to join this play. Over the wall goes Orises as he lands the Fate Sealed on a Loki Dosi, looking to melt him down, but he's getting melted down himself as Loki Dosi turns the shots around and takes out the enemy top laner. Now stepping forward, looking to see what else they can find as Mark Boots is throwing Dark Spheres over the wall, and it's going to be Dragon in the eyes of TA Power. They've got themselves 2 kills. Tay is already coming back, but they feel like they've got the strength to take the fight as Soma gets pushed further back by Mark Boots, but Duan is stepping up as Tay has returned to the battle. Bit Bad throwing out that smoke screen, trying to buy himself some time, just blows him up with the collateral damage, but it's going to be a trade 1-for-1 as the Dark Sphere is still coming in over the wall, and it's still on Loki Dosi to try to finish this fight off. He is the source of damage, and Turk is at no HP, but the Blade Caller getting good damage in from Tay as he pushes back his opposition. Now it's on Mark Boots again, gets himself another stun, but finally, both teams just have to back away from the objective.
All right, all that skirmishing, and no one ends up the victor for the Dragon. The biggest winner in all of that is I Am Sam, the only one who was not present at that fight. Picks up a lot of free gold on the top side. Now as a Sunfire, is able to neutralize a lot of that deficit in the matchup now. And I think another big winner is going to be Loki Dosi, picks up another kill. Mark Boots did a lot of work, didn't end up picking someone off for the final gold reward, but helped the team do so. And A Bit Bad was able to trade Duan multiple times, is now on that Eclipse. So all in all that fighting, it looks like the final resets are in. I can't imagine there's going to be another skirmish, as Mark Boots is going to has TP, so they could really go for it if they wanted to. It's going to be late, and the Dragons are going to get evened up. But, Gordo, the biggest difference here, Team Ambition, they, after all of that, picked themselves up a 3K gold lead at the cost of Dragon. Honestly, quite worth it.
Absolutely is, as TA. Now, if a big CS lead with a big kill lead on Loki Dosi in particular will sit at about 2,000 gold ahead as the fights are going to continue around through bottom lane. Turk looking for a pick here, but will spot Duan waiting in the wings, but Maximos is ahead on this rotation. It will be a 4 versus 3 for the side of Michigan, and Duan wants to get it started, but just can't find anybody to put to sleep. Instead, it's going to be the Rift Herald. Can't get the charge off in time. Smite comes through, but it's not enough, and TA gets the cash out.
All right, they get some gold. And not to mention Mark Boots again, just getting through to mid. I mean, this is kind of reminding me of game number 1. Mark Boots just pushing mid. Team is willing to take Mark Boots' free turret pass instead of joining these fights. And then he's just going to carry later in the game. And they're going with that plan again. They have a lot of faith in their mid laner, and it paid off game 1. And I imagine game 2, a similar strategy makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely does. Means that they're just slowly building advantages really across the board, and there's going to be a bigger one as Bad comes over the wall. Here comes the Chrono Shift from Zilean to buy time for Duan to arrive and help, and it looks like it will be enough to save Maximos' life. They do not have the burst damage to take him down a second time. It will just be a recall forced out of the Zilean.
Yeah, but that burst damage, Gardo, I mean, just completely 100 to 0'd in a matter of moments. Maximos has to be real careful with that ultimate now. Has to make sure it gets the right target. And if you miss it by a couple seconds, you're going to have a dead teammate on your hands. And that's not going to be good for the side of Michigan. They're pushing up with the pressure on bot side. Turk just doing so much on the Annie. The lane that got criticized by so many people is doing wonderfully in this game. That Annie counter is helping out Lokidosi in this lane so much.
Yeah, for sure. Getting a big boost of gold onto your Zeri right when things start out, that'll make a lot of matchups look a lot better. As another matchup, looking like they're going in on top lane, that is going to be Orises having to use the ultimate to get away. So I Am Sam was setting up there with that call of the Forge God, and that might just be enough for Bad to want to look at this Herald before too long. Important cooldown blown on the top side for Michigan.
All right, Mark Boots lands a stun again. Orsi is going to go for a bit of trade. As I'm a bit interested, how much gold lead does Lokidosi have? I mean, how many plates did he end up picking in the bot side, as well as his 4-kill gold lead? 300 gold bounty, so probably has the biggest difference in the game compared to everyone else. And that shield bow is going to provide so much protection for this area. All right, so here are the plating differences, and that is basically 1,000 gold just off the plates alone. That is huge. So 3 in the top, 2 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. That is going to be 8 plates in total. That's a lot, Gordo, that they were able to pick up in this game.
It is. Some of that gold went to Bad as well, as he threw down the Rift Herald, and I don't think Lokidosi was in range to get some of that gold. But, you know, the at risk now of losing multiple turrets in just the even lanes is Michigan. You know, 2 versus 2, Lokidosi and Turk take down that bottom one. Mark Boots has been hammering away at the mid lane turret as well. Very close to taking that one out. And that's just going to open up the map so much.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get a lot of control. That was
Got
a
it.
nice attempt as Tay takes that away. Mark Boots going to get this turret down.
One
I mean,
more.
now they're going to have advantage in the turrets as well. Not to just mention the plates. Top, I mean, that's not going to last that much longer as well. And we're already staring at something very close to a 4K gold lead, very similar to game number 1. Michigan, they're just losing around on these objectives.
Absolutely are. They need to find themselves some way of getting some gold back, and a pick on a Bad would be a good way to do it. Quickness is popped by Soma. He dashes over, and there's going to be the Fate Sealed getting some good damage in, but they're forced to blink back as the teleport is coming in from I Am Sam.
Oh, Lornhorn.
All the Forge God reigns across. Orises gets knocked up and has to flash over the wall as I Am Sam continues to step forward looking for the knockups. A double stun comes through from Maximos, and here's the re-engage that Michigan were waiting for, but this Ornn is just so tanky and refuses to drop. Over the wall, they find Lokidosi, who's got no backup, but the 2-man Timbers with the collateral damage gets a double kill for TA, and it's going to be 1 back for Lokidosi. A 3-for-1 team fight for Team Ambition Power as they can just keep their siege going.
All right, they're going to push them all the way up to the 2nd tier turret and rotate back down to this dragon here, and they're going to be able to pick that up. Mark Boots doesn't have TP, and they're all quite low, so if they take too much time here, the TP from Orises could be a huge turnaround. Looks like Bad's going to start it up. He has healing on the Eclipse, so going to be able to do that just fine. 4 members in, And now everyone from Michigan are making a straight beeline. They're rushing to this dragon. They're taking too long from the side of Team Ambition. They're going to give this over.
Yeah, they are. It takes you a long time without Lokidosi's damage for sure. Now they're going to step up and a little bit of something back for Michigan, right? They're still only down 4K gold. They can try to pick this one up. Objective bounties are not active yet, somehow, so they won't get that bonus gold, but they'll be happy to at least get something.
Yeah, they really need that bonus gold. I mean, if they get that fixed with the bounty system, they'll actually be in an okay spot. Of course, the turrets down is a lot of pressure that they really need. They end up picking up the second Rift Herald, which is not much, but if they are able to get down this turret, it's going to help them make a lot of prio pushes for that dragon, because at this point in the game, that next dragon in the 5v5 is going to be rough for them to take, because they're going to be late on that positioning.
For sure. Moving up onto the top side. Baron buff spawning in less than a minute. Would be a surprise to see these teams go for the objective that early, but TA, they've got the advantage. They can try to force Michigan's hand here. They know how squishy these guys are. And they know that things are just going to get tougher once Maximos gets those additional levels, once he gets the Rod of Ages stacked up, once he gets the Chrono Shift on a low cooldown. They're going to want to push this lead while they have it, and here's Mark Boots finding a good angle onto Maximos. This is going to be the ultimate forced out of Zilean again. He has to step away.
Yeah, I think Mark Boots has basically forced the Zilean ult every time that he's ulted himself, so that damage coming through from the Syndra ended up going Liandry instead of Zonius. Didn't want as much burst damage, instead wants more ramp and damage over time. So interesting going with that one, as there's no real tank that you would expect Liandry's to be played into. Turk on top side as well as bad. And now Lokidosi on his lonesome trying to get away.
Not going to land the Fate Sealed there as the dash back comes through from Soma. Call the Forge God is forced out, but no kills or gold going to be gained by Michigan as they move back up towards the top side as a four-man squad. They got to be careful about getting pinched here, though.
Are they running in? Zilean does not have an ultimate. The Annie has an angle, doesn't go the quick way. The ward would have spotted them regardless. They're in a bit of a choke, and they are able to get through based off Mark Boots' pressure here. Kind of zoned away. Everyone left him all alone. Forced to flash over the wall. A bit of miscommunication. I think they could have safely escorted Mark Boots to the mid lane there.
Yep, flash down for Mark Boots here. Maximos has his ultimate back available. The funny thing is Mark Boots is kind of in a sweet spot for damage right now in the one up against Maximos, where he knocks him low enough to force him to use the ultimate, but doesn't actually pop the ultimate and give him that big heal. Once he gets another item or two done, Mark Boots is actually going to fully finish off Maximos with the Unleashed Power, and then he's actually going to get the heal and not have to back away from the wave.
I don't know what you can do there. Obviously, burning the ultimate right before a big fight is good. As Orkies, I think he's fine. Oh, wait, the
bad though.
down.
Not willing to give it up. Gets the slow off the smite. Fate Sealed comes out so that Orisies can fight back a bit, but Turk is arriving with the stun, and Orisies is going to go down here. That kill goes over to Turk on support. 1-0-7, looking like a mid lane Annie.
Yeah, no, Turk pretty much did most of the heavy lifting there, so deserves the kill.
Earned.
Yeah. Orisies 2-4-2. Wasn't able to cut through the grit of Graves there. Had it stacked up quite a bit, prevented a lot of the damage coming through. And I think the big thing though, Mark Boots doesn't have the flash. If Orisies gets onto the Syndra with the Fate Sealed, I think that's a pretty good shot at a kill. So they're gonna have to make sure that doesn't happen at the next dragon here at 1:30. So that's a big summoner going down. I think everyone from the side of Michigan has their sums, and that's the only one missing. That Mark Boots is kind of the odd man out in the entire map here.
True, yeah. Been a little bit of a calm in the action for a bit here, which means going to be plenty of sums up for the next big team fight. A minute to go on this next dragon. Michigan definitely wants to keep that stacking going if they can. See if they're able to get some nice positioning for this one. Mark Boots has finished off his Seraph's Embrace, so going to be a lot tankier, get a lot more damage now than what he had in the previous fights, and might just be crossing over that threshold now, both on Splinters of Wrath and on itemization, to where he can really one-shot people with this ult.
So Team Ambition get onto the objective first, and as I was saying, it's really hard for Michigan to step up. Rakan is a very squishy support engaged champion. So if the Annie gets on him and then there's any other form of CC to follow up, Rakan's just going to get blown up before he even has a chance to affect the fight. On the other hand, Michigan, they really want this dragon to have the soul threat here for themselves. They're fighting for the mid wave, and it looks like they are trying their best, but they aren't going to be able to get Prio.
Oh, there's the movement speed boost onto Duan. Can close that gap quickly. This is a three-man sleep if they go for it, and they are going to put both Annie and Lokidosi to sleep. There's the fate sealed onto 3, and Orises finds his opportunity and cuts down 2. It's now a 5 versus 3 team fight in favor of Michigan as Orises continues to step forward but gets stunned by Mark Boots and taken off the map as I Am Sam steps forward looking to keep this going and get a big knockup on to the side of Tay, who has to back away, taking big damage from Bad off the side. This 3-man squad of TA Power, they are still plenty strong, and they are willing to keep on fighting. They step forward. Bit Bad has plenty of stacks up on that True Grit and is just unloading onto Maximos and Soma. This duo just has no damage, and the knockup comes through from I Am Sam as Soma drops to a buckshot from I Am Bad, and that's going to be Maximos chasing down I Am Sam, picks up that kill, and Duan is the last one standing. All of a sudden, he has to back away from Bad's damage, and they are going to move on down and get ready to start up this dragon. A teleport in from Orises, but Turk has already returned to the action, as has Lokidosi, with summoners still to spare. If this fight keeps going, it should be favoring TA. I Am Sam dashes away, but Orises just gets one shot by the Unleashed Power, and Lokidosi is ready to pop off. He steps up, he gets snared up by the Blade Caller, but he's got the itemization advantage to just shrug it right off as he guns down Duan. TA Power come out ahead despite the poor start.
How did they turn that around? It was basically a 2-for-0, and all Michigan had to do was wait around, play as a team to secure that dragon. So not only do they lose dragon here, if this Baron stuff actually pulls through, losing everything on the map despite initially winning the fight. Duan with an amazing 3-man sleep and the Fate Seal to kind of scoop him up so effective in that mid-lane fight, and now it's being thrown all away.
Yeah, Mark Boots just continuing to push back the members of Michigan. They can't get through this ramp to contest the Baron in the first place. There's a really powerful Syndra in their way, and they manage to force back Michigan and claim the Baron for themselves. Now nearly an 8k gold lead over to the side of TA Power.
Yeah, the gold lead is growing in that team fight. What happened? What was the call? They kind of all split up. The two most utility-based members were caught together, Rakan and Zilean, and they were just chased down and cleaned up, as I think that they just felt a little confident just because they won the team fight that Team Ambition were just going to give it away, and they end up running into some of the worst of their opponents, and that lead that they earned just completely turned away. And now Michigan, I mean, there's not much they can do. I mean, the scalings come through, they have the Baron, they're going to push down the turrets, get more pressure. And Lokidosi, I mean, like, despite going down from Duan in the first round, this next time has 3 items. So that damage coming through is going to be even more drastic.
Absolutely. Bad stepping up. Still strong enough on this Graves, especially with the Black Cleaver, Maw, and the shielding from Eclipse, that he can just shrug off the damage, and Duan might be the one who's up too far. Chrono Shift thrown down to make sure that Duan will not drop, but once again, it's crucially not popped, so no heal. Going to be a forced recall from Duan here. He's just got to walk his way back to the base, as the ranged harass from TA Power won't let him do so peacefully. Michigan just having their turrets slammed onto.
Oh, Syndra gets stunned here. Oh, that's their calling card. Is going to burn a flash for the ultimate attempt. Knew that Soma was going to be able to get on him. Does flash out. But the Syndra, Gordo, there's just so much control coming out of Mark Boots. And the damage as well on top of it. It's hard for them to do anything into the Syndra pick.
Yeah, Orises, rather, looking around on the side, but not going to be able to find an angle to go for the Fate Sealed. Going for it now. Doesn't land it onto anybody and just gets blown up by Turk and Lokidosi's damage, and now the fight gonna break out as Tay-Tay's got nowhere to go, gets knocked up by the Call of the Forge God, and Lokidosi looking to rain down onto Maximos. What else can he find? A secretive recall from Soma will get him out to safety, but it's going to be at the expense of their inhibitor turrets. Bad takes out the bot lane, the 4-man squad takes out the mid, and TA Power are claiming this base for themselves.
All right, are they gonna go for the win? I mean, they have so much momentum, and honestly, with their gold lead, they could probably win 2 fights back to back. Mark Boots lands a stun. They're gonna get the engage, and the return fire coming through.
Absolutely decimating the roster of Michigan here. They cannot win this fight 3v5. They couldn't win it 5v5 as Soma and Tay gonna try to make a stand, but it will not happen. TA Power take it 2-0 and are gonna move on to the winner side finals.
All right, Gordo. We were expecting somewhat of a clash here, but it just ended up being a one-sided affair. Team Ambition Power looked like unstoppable juggernauts in that match. They won from the top side game 1. Now they won from mid and bot side game number 2. And it looked like all the same problems were still there. Questions in the macro, questions in the laning, the jungle getting ahead in lanes that really were necessary for the side of Team Ambition here. So Bad doing a lot of work in the early game. And Mark Boots getting free scaling and free gold and efficiency in both game 1 and 2, and then just completely manhandling his opponents. It looked like Team Ambition just the better team overall.
Yeah, and going back to the narrative of this rematch here, the big differences from TA Power compared to what TA Black used to be, is this new bot lane with Lokidosi. They play through this lane a lot more than they did back then, and really showing it in this game number 2. Lokidosi has a great game alongside Turk. They get the first blood in the 2-on-2. They can play through this Zeri consistently, and she comes up big here in some of these later fights. So 1 game through top side, 1 game through bot side. TA looks nearly equally dominant in both. Mark Boots wins the mid lane on his own both times as well. And it is just looking like this is TA Power's league as they run through this semifinal, making it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, when your roam plays for mid lane don't work out, especially when Mark Boots is just totally content to push through and get the plates for free, it really does put a hamper on your ability to win these games. And I mean, Team Ambition, both games were able to just secure a bunch of plates and turrets pretty much simultaneously, giving them a huge gold lead. Multiple times they win on bottom side and top side at the same time. And if we want to look at game 2, that dragon where they basically fought for it, but Team Ambition were able to pick it up anyway. I Am Sad was never there, not even for a moment. Picked up plates on the top side the whole time, getting that free scaling on Ornn of all champions. And that was just the story being told multiple times over. Michigan trying to get something. It goes neutral at best. Meanwhile, someone else on the map picking up free resources.
Yeah, and we got some replays here. Going to be looking at the Graves kill we missed from the pause as we come back, see what happened with Graves here, or Bad rather.
All right. Caddy comes through, and now a bit Bad. It looks like he's looking for this gank angle. Notices, hey, Raptors are up. This is a free takeaway. Counter jungling is back, right, Gordo? Well, Maximos was able to spot that out, and I believe now this is not a good situation for the Graves. Gonna get over the wall, and the Sleep gonna come through to secure this up. Orki's on the side as well. The Drowsy extra damage. The Sleep gonna just hold him there long enough for the team to come around, and the Resurrect perfectly timed. Saw that the Q bounce back was gonna kill Duan, so Maximos doing a good job there. Unfortunately, that lead that they were able to garner there was not put to good use.
Yeah, just a solid play all around there. Every time Maximos had to use the ultimate, it wasn't the ways you wanted to, right? You want to be able to create more time for a fight that you can win off the back of there. You want to nullify some of these burst tools and be able to convert that into an actual fight win, but really just ends up delaying the inevitable most of the time this game. And great job by TA Power as well. They very consistently denied the Resurrect from actually coming through. They knocked him down to about 200 HP, and they just left him there. And it meant that really very little, if any, ground was ever gained from that Chrono Shift.
Yeah, I mean, Zilean just forced to use it on himself so many times. Maximos was just completely getting neutralized. His point is to save other teammates in their times of need to turn around team fight. Was never really able to put it together here. And I'm really interested if we have the next replay of that main team fight coming up here soon. And yeah, Gordo, you were able to get your moment here. Duan finds himself a nice... Oh, actually, this is the one before that. So they have the fate sealed here. They're trying to get in the engage, but they have their engages split. That TP coming in is going to force them to all back away. And now with the Ornhorn, look at this. Such a perfect scenario to pick up the kills. Featherstorm is being popped, and all these resources being blown here right before the dragon is the big deal. Duan gets around. Huge sleep. Was able to pull that off multiple times. So Duan is proficient on this champion, but is just going to try to get the shutdown here. And this is the big moment where that double stun and the double knockup lands. That is the ultimate decider of that fight. Lokidosi going for it as well. Got to give credit to the AD carry as well as Turk and I Am Sam to finish it off. Just huge value out of these AoE champions being just proved to use here.
Yeah, that's the dream there. With the collateral damage from Bad, he just knocks both of them down with one shot. And that's really what puts him in a high enough gold lead to where he's really able to take the rest of this game.
They had to give here.
You know,
yeah.
Was having a bit of a calmer game before that. Is this replay keeps on going? By the way, this is the long fight. Crims is they are both looking to start up the dragon, and neither team really wants to give it up. And I do believe we're going to get a little rejoin visit here from Lokidosi before too long as they push back the mid wave. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing my dragon mid lane focused team fights once again as they do throw down the Rift Herald. But this is really kind of still the same extended play as they look to get more with the Rift Herald, but it does end up getting taken down.
Yeah, I think we're thinking of the next one.
We'll
wait till Caddy's ready with that one. Because that one was, I mean, that was a game decider for sure right there. That one also had a lot of implications. Team Ambition were forced off as Michigan just basically blew a bunch of resources to secure that well-needed dragon. Did give them that second dragon and gave them that third dragon threat in that last fight that we're going to pull up here. So they were able to pull out, I mean, it wasn't a full victory, but they were able to get the constellation prize of the dragon, which is okay. Not what they wanted, not ideal. They really needed money. As remember we were talking about, there was no bounties activated for them.
Yeah, for sure. I look, I don't understand the math behind the bounties. I do know that it cares about your objectives, so it's possible that getting those dragons might have really been part of why they didn't end up getting them there. But not being able to cash out after the few fights they won really did definitely suck for Michigan here, as this is the engage that they find. This is their big 3-man sleep. Could have almost been a 4-man. They had the dust on Bad, but it just dropped off. Great setup there for Morrissey. Gets the ultimate knock up, gets a double kill right off the bat. But TA, you know, recognizing, hey, we've got a lot of cooldowns out, we've got a lot of damage onto the Michigan roster, and we've got a very powerful trio here to keep this fight going. We do not necessarily need Lokidosi to at least still be a threat and to prevent them from just getting this objective for free.
The chunk on Tete is huge because the AD carry does not have a TP. That's going to be a force back. Orsies has the TP, but look, he's not going to be here. He is down. They need to wait a couple more seconds. And this is the worst case scenario. These two members deal the least amount of damage. They're all utility. They're just there to lock people down and assist in getting the kills. So two of them together being caught out means they really are defenseless. And they just got split up, it seems, by the Ornn. I Am Sam was able to split them. That I guess they just didn't think about their ability to get away there. They really needed to stick together as a squad, and now the teleport comes out. But it's too late. Their utility champions are all dead. They're going to go for this fight anyway because they're feeling the desperation, and there's no way they win this one.
Yeah, and now it's Michigan in the 3-on-5. But they are not the ones who have the massive gold lead before it gets started, and so they just end up getting crushed here. They lose the Yone right off of the TP, and Lokidosi gets his chance to just pop off here, tanking up both Duan and Tete, and has the gold to do so with that Immortal Shield Bow.
Yeah, they could have really peeled off after the 2 kills. It would have been a clean 2-0, but they kind of just pushed it a little bit too much. They felt like they had the momentum, but it turned out to be a bit of a trick on their own part. Pulled too far into the fight. Orsies goes down, and then Tete gets chunked out, and then they split up, and then, man, what a disaster after that point. And to be honest, they actually won that fight, so it's a bit sad to see Michigan mess up right after they do something amazing.
Absolutely there. You know, they found their actual team fight set up there just the one time, but they couldn't carry it through the rest of the way, and ends up just
Okay.
being a big win here. Looking at the damage chart here, Mark Boots in the lead by quite a bit. Followed up by Loki Dosi, followed up by Bad, and then Duan, not too far away either. Did get some nice damage in on the Lilia, but just couldn't get it in the right moments to be able to win out the fights.
I think some key things to note here: the Zillion damage quite low. I mean, he is a utility champion, so that in place of something else really needed Orsies to do the picking up there doesn't end up being a big factor in the damage either. So the team kind of fell apart in the mid game in both times. So University of Michigan, you have some figuring out to do for the lower end of the bracket. That mid game looking quite suspect right now.
Yeah, gonna have to take some knocks, move down to the lower bracket, get some more time to scrim. You know, it has only been about a week on this patch, so they've got even less than that really. So they got some time to figure out what their style is going to be. Looks like these supportive mid laners, not exactly doing it for him, at least for the time being. We'll see what they look like next time they appear on stream. You know, hopefully they can steal themselves, have a good run down there in the lower bracket. Maybe we even see some sort of rematch between these guys later on. But that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast of the Risen Divine League. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back throughout the week with more Risen Leagues, and we'll be back next week for the Divine League. We'll either be winners finals or we'll be losers side semis. We'll see which matchup we decide to feature. But till then, thank you guys all for tuning in. From Crims and myself and Caddy on production, we will see you all next time.